York, joining us in time for the start of the Late Pick 4 on the Sunday card. We also have live action under the Twin Spires from Churchill Downs out in Louisville. Greg Wolf alongside champion jockey Richard Migliore, New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling as well. And the feature on this Sunday card this afternoon going to be on the turf. Not a lot of turf racing left as we're closing in on winter. The Winter Memories coming up later today, and it's a New York-bred filly who's the morning line favorite in a wide open race.
It is a wide open race, and you've got to take into consideration the turf course's condition. We did have some rain, and it doesn't dry out overnight because we have those cooler evenings and longer evenings.
And if this race is really a Grade 2 field. I mean, this is not even a Grade 3 turf race. This is a very, very strong race.
So Runaway Rumor, she started out her career winning the first 3 starts, including a stake against Open Company. She has been in 3 graded stakes her next 4 starts. She always shows up. She just has not won since those first 3 starts.
Doesn't she deserve to have drawn a better post? The kind of year she had. I mean, she's a very unusual horse in that she's proficient closing in 6 furlong turf races, and she's proficient in 2-turn mile and 1/8 races. Richie, that's an unusual quality.
It's very unusual. Usually it's very specific. You're a closing sprinter, but not her. I mean, she settles and she comes with a run. I agree. I mean, it's tough to get an outside draw. What kind of trip does she work out?
So post 11 on the inner turf here, those tighter turns, realistically, because of that, how much do you downgrade her chances?
Well, there is 1 scratch at least, so she gets in at least 1 for what it's worth. You do have a decent enough run. So the question is, if there's a little bit of pace and you can spread the field out, then she'll be able to find her position.
Are you seeing that kind of pace here?
Well,
I'm not seeing it signed on whatsoever.
I won't be surprised if Plum Ali is aggressively ridden in this race. And I think she's going to run well here.
I'd like to see her aggressively ridden because she seems to me a bit one pace. And horses that are one pace, you're better off being in position and they can maintain their stride. They're not going to quicken for you.
No, I think that's a great point.
That's a feature coming up later on this Sunday card. Let's take a look at what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. So Winter Memories are featured. That's in race 8. Still listed as muddy on the main track, good on the turf. We do have action from Churchill.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You can play it all with Naira Bets. Get signed up, started. $200 deposit match, bonus 200. Sign up and earn that offer by punching in the code bonus 200 and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. 4th from Churchill Downs, mile and a 16th, $40,000 claiming race. And a race that will kick off the Derby City 6. Coming up, 3-2 Trumpet Lily. Our buddy Tom Amos, Jimmy Graham, dropping out of a tough go in Allowance Company last out.
Yeah, I think this horse in a little bit of trouble. The 2, the favorite, she's way the horse to beat. Isn't she totally loose here?
Unless the horse coming out of the sprint, Bayshore Foxes.
I agree. Potential thorn side off the claim.
The favorite in those silks of Serengeti Empress's Joel Politi. Just stepping onto the track. There's the 3 Some Kind of Pretty. We're going to get to our post parade here in a moment. They're continuing to work their way here through the tunnel. Muddy at Churchill Downs as well. So muddy at both tracks recovering this afternoon.
They've had a lot of rain this week, actually. We're muddy in Harrod, though, should be pointed out, and I almost wonder if it's good by now.
Here's the one, right trap for Steve Hobby, back-to-back wins.
At least this one tried a mile last time, but this is a much tougher test.
Here's Tom Amos and Joel Politi's Trumpet Lily.
One of the reasons Tom Amos is such a successful trainer is not only a good horseman, he's a good manager. He runs horses where they belong. She's in a good spot.
Some Kind of Pretty, 3-1 with Adam Beschizza.
Claim for Al Stahl in his last start, but this trainer, Ethan West, won off the claim earlier this week.
A little flyer at 5-1, just claimed by Michael Porter.
That was impressive. That was for 10, though. Steps up in class, but does have that sloppy track win there.
Yeah, it was won by 7 3/4 as the favorite in that race. Time for Glory, Norm Cash, John McKee.
More of a turf horse, but ran against a super tough field 2 back on the dirt at Churchill.
And on the outside at 5-1, Bayshore Foxes, who will stretch out in distance.
I think she has a lot to say about how this race will be run. Coming out of sprints, last time she ran 2 turns, she was in front. She's the one who could be a thorn in the side of the 2, Trumpet Lily.
Who is your market mover, Trumpet Lily, 3-2 favorite on the board, daughter of Carpe Diem. Now with the Tom Amos barn for the last few starts. Tried to get that allowance win with her. They're now going to try softer company after she was not up to the task. She looks like she's going to be real tough in this spot. Even money right now. If you want to bet the market mover, anybody else in this race, you can go to twinspires.com or download the Twin Spires app. Let's go live to Louisville and check in with Frank Lyons.
Hi, Wolfie. Hi, guys. Welcome to Churchill Downs, and the track is listed as muddy, as you can see. The track is drying out, so it might be upgrading to good here pretty soon. We got the kind of hard-knocking horses today. We don't have any stakes today. We do have three two-year-olds, two two-year-old maiden special weights, and a maiden two-year-old one other Dan, and there's 4 offspring of Into Mischief, 2 colts, 2 fillies, so very excited for the stars of tomorrow. They are approaching the gate right now. I do believe that the 2 is going to win this race for Tom Amos. That is Trumpet Lily, and the 3 is going to be second. So I'm going to go 2-3 here. They're loading in, so I'll throw it back to you, Wolfie.
All right, Frank, thanks. Even money, and most agree with Frank. They're not going to try and beat Trumpet Lily, who's taken the drop in class for a very sharp trainer, and these connections like to be forward when they have speed.
And as a guy who has a lot of strong opinions, I love that Frank says, I believe the 2's going to win. He doesn't hedge. He's all in. And I agree with him. As does
Should have company up front, though, from the outside runner, no?
We'll see how aggressive she is. It does seem like the inside in these races, it's not dissimilar to Saratoga, the mile and 1/8 races. Aggression from the inside gives you a real advantage versus breaking outside.
The guys tend to defer when they're outside. Yeah. They go, okay, well, I'm not kind of forced into it. But I don't, it's not a formula for success for me. A horse stretching out, rating them going forward.
Gotta go. I agree. We miss you riding, Richie.
I second that.
I third it.
We're set.
The MiG didn't rate speed horses.
Derby City 6 coming up. Let's go to Travis Stone, race 4 from Churchill Downs.
They're in the gate. And they're off. A little flyer mid-pack broke okay. Bayshore Foxes bounds out of there. And Trumpet Lily toward the rail. And right at the inside is Right Trap up close racing third in a bit tight there. Had to steady briefly off heels as they head into the clubhouse turn where Trumpet Lily has gone out to establish the lead and opens up to lead by 2. Bayshore Foxes with a good beginning is right up and on the pace running along in second. Right Trap toward the rail is third. Then it's a margin of 3 back to Time for Glory, who's running along in fourth with Some Kind of Pretty. At the back early is a little flyer, about 6 lengths off the lead. The opening quarter goes in 24 1/5 seconds. Trumpet Lily loose on the lead down the backstretch run with 5 furlongs to go. An uncontested 1-length advantage so far. Bayshore Foxes is tracking intently from second. Right Trap continues on, covered up inside while third. Still 2 lengths back, Time for Glory. Now getting a little bit closer out of fourth. A little flyers launching a rally. Forced to go wide, though. Some Kind of Pretty trails round the far turn. And Trumpet Lily continues to roll along up top, holding on to that lead now with 3 furlongs to go. Bayshore Foxes getting a little bit closer. Right Trap rolls up on the outside from third. A little flyer is fourth, coming for the top of the stretch. Trumpet Lily has been loose on the lead since the start. Cuts the corner off the turn in front by 4. Trumpet Lily the one to catch. Right Trap runs up into second. Bayshore Foxes fights on from third. They're racing for the 8th pole, and it's Trumpet Lily with a 6-length lead coming for the wire. Right Trap is now a clear second. Bayshore Foxes in third. The rest with way too much to do. It's a coast-to-coast win for Trumpet Lily. Trumpet Lily never faced any opposition whatsoever. Wins by 8 lengths in the end. Right Trap, Bayshore Foxes tight for 4th.
Same silk to Serengeti Empress, and this filly doing her best impression of the former Kentucky Oaks winner on the front end.
Going to the lead, that's a good thing to have is speed, especially on a muddy track. She didn't break particularly well, Andy, but she had plenty of opportunity to get forward position.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. James Graham, she didn't break that well. She just was a little sluggish. She kind of got a little between horses, but he persevered. And the rider, the 6, Richie, did not.
Yeah, you can see the difference here. I mean, he's got a length on him now. If he had committed to the idea, he would have been able to outfoot the 2, drop over, and it changes the complexion of a race. I mean, people look at it and say, well, the 2 is much the best. She went off. But if you throw some kickback, some dirt in a horse's face, it changes things a great deal.
Couldn't agree more. I think it's hard to explain because obviously on the racetrack, the 2 buried the 6, but it could have been very different.
And if you're in a race like this with a heavy price favorite who's dropping in class and the one to beat, I mean, that's a given. gift you're given
right.
with that bad break from her.
It's your job as a jockey to put your competition in compromising positions within the boundaries of the rules. He got a free pass to take it away from the favorite there, and it changes the complexion of the race.
Yep, 100% agree. Didn't take advantage of something he was given.
Trumpet Lily wins at a short price to kick off that Derby City 6. We have the Late Pick 4 coming up back at South Ozone Park here in New York. BC Glory Days for John Terranova. Likely favorite. We'll be back.
Deep in the heart of horse country, from these Kentucky hills has sprung a legacy rivaled by few. From the all-time greats of yesterday to the breed-shaping bloodlines of today, our roots hold strong with the promise of tomorrow. For over a century, our passion has guided us to where we stand and everything we stand for. Claiborne Farm, the tradition continues.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on FS2. Good to have you with us on this Sunday card from our opening weekend at this Aqueduct Fall Meet. We have a New York bred maiden special weight. Everyone trying for that first win of their career, 6 furlong sprint. And there's Brew Pub, Street Sense 3-year-old, who is making this maiden thing kind of a career thing to this point. This will be the 18th time trying to get that first win.
He likes to be in the maiden conditions, Richie.
It's not a bad thing for an owner to keep collecting checks. This horse has earned nearly 100,000. He's got 5 seconds, 5/3 from 17 starts.
And this is his race 2 back, and this is just sort of emblematic of the way his career's gone. He's run well enough to win races, and he just doesn't seal the deal. But on the other hand, he's not a super short price. He's 5-1, and he's going to win one of these races by accident one day. These are the kind of horses you're allowed to bet against at short prices, but you don't need to take a big stand against the horse if it's 5-1 in a race like this.
It's very fair, but it does kind of feel like he's a horse that's very content running with competition as opposed to passing.
Oh, I'm not picking him. but you don't want to, be too hard knocking horse and he pays $13 or something. It's one thing if he's 2-1 and you want to take a big stand against him.
Generous price, but a lot of opportunities. Right now, 2 on the board at 5-2. Swinton, who was making start number 2, had a 5-length lead in the stretch in his debut, and he got run down. And then the horse on the outside, BC Glory Days, who's going to cut back in distance. Going to kick off our post-break with a first-time starter, Sir William for Jimmy Ferraro.
Actually, a path to a pretty talented horse named Sea Raven. 3 of the foals from the dam were runners, but not taking a lot of money. But
yeah, that was a 5-time winner. There was another horse the dam dropped that was a 14-time winner. Swinton at 5-2 is your favorite.
That showed high speed for lower-level maiden claiming horses. That was a very fast pace. He got caught late, but he's got to be in front again, no?
Oh, he's fast, this horse, fast.
Dylan Davis winning on the turf earlier today from an outside post at 8-1. He'll be aboard Swinton. Scherzando, Gary Siaka.
Steve Bick, BT Stable. Got to root for my friend Steve Bick. Don't like the horse, but I'll root for Steve.
Another McLean's music.
Yeah.
Eric Cancel will be aboard. The 440 Comets for Jimmy Ryerson.
Yeah, making his third start and a trainer whose horses race into condition. I think a horse that makes sense.
Next door, got the goal, a horse who was in start number 3, distant second to a good one named Gold Panda, and he has not showed up at his next 2 going longer.
He's very fair price at 6-1. I think he'll benefit from cutting back in distance.
It looks like definitely better sprinting, what he's shown anyway so far. Here's Brewpub, who's, as we mentioned, 0 for 17.
But a check getter and a horse that tries, and he does from a buyer speed figure standpoint, stacks up with some of these.
And outside BC Glory Days looks tough in here on the cutback.
I picked him. I was hoping cutting back would help. Now, on the other hand, his trainer's never run him this short in the dirt before, but I think he should be in a good stalking position.
Joining us for the first time this afternoon, let's head downstairs to Acacia Courtney.
Hey, Greg, and we'll start with one off the claim. That's the number 2, Swinton, who, looking at him in his debut back in my notes, he really made a great impression that day in that he was very professional. He seemed to really be well suited to sprinting on the main track and to the conditions. It just seemed like he got a little bit short. So having the fitness under his belt now, and he certainly does look stronger today. First off the claim for AC Avila, I know he's stepping up in class, but I think this is a fine spot for him. He's added a shadow roll, that fleece across the noseband, and it is a typical kind of equipment that AC does use. He's checked all the boxes out on the track as well in a pretty contained warm-up under Dylan Davis, hopefully trying to wrangle that speed a little bit more. The 7 BC Glory Days cuts back in distance, and while I do think that he's actually quite versatile and can go turf or dirt, this actually looks like the perfect spot for him. He's not overly big. He's a little bit more compact and stout in his build. Looks to be well suited to a sprint condition. Love the warm-up that he's getting out there under Louis Saez. Has his ears pricked, just really seems to be enjoying his job and enjoying the cooler weather that we have today as well. First-time starter Sir William is a bigger price down to the inside, but as you guys were mentioning, did have some pedigree as far as these siblings who have been successful. This was a horse who was a late scratch on track back on October 3rd, a scratch by the vet, the rider not liking what he was feeling from him warming up. He does come back here, and he's been moving fine out there. Apprentice Christian Ramos giving him a pretty good warm-up, but just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind, and he does debut with those blinkers on. So we'll see what we get from him. He does seem to be well spotted as far as sprinting on the dirt, though, Greg.
Acacia, thank you. So 15-1, Sir William. And yeah, he's actually twice been a vet scratch, so they've been waiting a little while to make this debut with him.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, listen, we've seen Jimmy Farrar with big price firsters, and it seems like he really will come alive at Aqueduct if you're looking for like a long shotty type trainer in here. Unlikely he's going to win here, but you never know.
You know, though, it's always concerning when you have a horse that's been a vet scratch twice, because then it speaks to riders not being as comfortable with the way he strides out. They go to a lower profile rider who, not that he can't ride, he's just a lower profile rider, and the conventional wisdom is that, well, a hungry rider, you know, he's going to give me 20% of himself. I just think that, you know, I would take a wait and see approach. I want to see the horse run, and obviously he's not taking any money, so usually that helps us, guides us a little bit what the board says.
Right, I agree. And it's not exactly like the strongest field you're going to see in a maiden special weight, but it's not a bunch of horses running 40 buyers. You know, it's not the kind of race where you feel like yesterday's last race where there could be something chaotic.
Meanwhile, back to favoritism, BC Glory Days, and he's coming out of a mile race. He's shortening up to sprinting. But the one time we saw him sprint on the dirt, he was in front.
He's not getting in front of the 2 unless the 2 falls down. I mean, the 2 is fast. It's funny with him. You could argue that if he wins here at 6, maybe John Terranova is going to say maybe I got him wrong the whole time because he's been running him much longer his whole career. His first race was an excellent performance. He really should have won. He took all the pressure that day. He's in a good spot stalking on the outside. I think he'll benefit from his last race. I'm just, you know, I picked him, but it's hard to be confident because he has had a lot of chances.
Do you think there's a possibility that the 2 Swinton that you and I agree is naturally the fastest horse in the race, with the run under his belt, we'll be able to see it through, that just from a fitness standpoint, he'll be better?
I think the problem is, he ran in a maiden $25,000 claimer. He lost to Flipping Fun, who was making his zillionth start in there. This is a tougher, it's not a great field, but it's a tougher, stronger field he's against. But I tell you something, I imagine Rick Schosper was sorry to lose this horse. Horse like this, with the speed he has, this is not a bad horse to have gotten for $25,000.
Sure.
We're talking about the two. Swinton showed that big speed in the debut and got run down with a 5-length lead in the stretch, you would think. Well, obviously, it's a good sign off the claim to move him up into class here, but with that fitness under his belt in the afternoon, that speed can last a little longer and he can finish. There he is with Dylan.
Is the 5 a real overlay at 7-1 right now? I thought he made a lot of sense cutting back in distance.
Yeah, I mean, the last race going 6 was in the Slop in Saratoga. He closed well enough.
Yeah, I thought he was a little bit interesting in here at a price.
Any feel for the 440 Comets?
I don't like this horse. To me, he's never really done much running.
Okay.
I know it's his third start, and obviously those kind of horses, they have much more upside, and if you like him, he's a very square price. But to me, when has he really done much running? You know, he's got 2 thirds, but they were both thirds by a lot of distance, and I mean, I don't like Scherzando, and Scherzando beat him fair and square last time. If he couldn't beat Scherzando, why am I supposed to like him here?
No, I mean, it's
no,
fair
I'm not.
enough. I just, you know, for me, Jimmy Ryerson's a trainer who kind of races his horse into fitness mostly. And I just thought maybe he had a step forward in him.
We had a pick 6 carryover today of $61,000. It started 2 races back. We've had an 8-1, 7-1 start through the first 2 legs.
Yeah, no, it's not an easy sequence. And it's not like the 7th race, there's a heavy favorite, but there's a big field in the 8th. We've got some strong fields. We've got over 9 starters a race today. It's not like the last race is an easy race either.
No, not at all.
This one's only easy if you're right.
8-5 favorite on the outside. BC Glory Days cutting back in distance. Luis Saez aboard for John Terranova. Let's go upstairs. John Imbrial with the call.
Waiting for Brew Pub and BC Glory Days. Set for the start. And the rough. 40 Comets is sent out for the early lead. Now Swinton moves up at the rail, and Swinton takes over. 40 Comets racing in second, and the favorite BC Glory Days is on the outside, and in third. It's 3 lengths back to Scherzando. Passed now on the outside by Brewpub. At the back are Got the Gold and the first-time starter, Sir William. Swinton is the leader here by a length and a quarter. The quarter went in 22 3/5 seconds. It's Swinton on top with BC Glory Days racing in second. Now 3 lengths back to 40 Comets. And right alongside is Brewpub. It's Swinton with the lead over BC Glory Days as they come for the quarter pole. Swinton at the rail. BC Glory Days is on the outside. And then it's 4 lengths back to Brewpub and 40 Comets with Scherzando and Got the Gold. The half in 46 3. It is Swinton who has the lead here. Swinton gets clear to lead by 3 lengths. 40 Comets coming on through now to grab second with a 16th to the finish. It is Swinton in front. 40 Comets in second. They come for the wire. Dylan Davis with a double as he guides Swinton to victory here. 40 Comets was second, and Scherzando finished third.
Yep, 2 today, as mentioned, for Dylan Davis. And, wow, he is quick. Didn't break all that sharp. Quickly got to the front, though, nonetheless.
He didn't break very well at all. He was basically a length slow, Andy, and he got hustled up. But he's so quick that he was able to do that. I thought it was going to show up on him late, but he kept finding today.
All right. You would have thought the 7 who got that good stalk, and after you get left a little bit like that, you got to hustle up. But the 7, this was a very bad performance by the favorite, BC Glory Days, and I picked him, and he ran very poorly here. But Swinton, this is a heck of a pickup. I mean, he gets $38,500 for the win here. They claimed him for $25,000, and I got to tell you, this is a very solid effort. He's got if he can break sharply.
Yeah,
He would have won by 5 if he broke sharply.
But this is what we're talking about. Keep an eye on the 2-horse, white colors, blue cap. He's going to be a bit slow. If the 1-horse had broken sharply, it'd have looked even much worse. But look how quick he is that he's able to, shoot up the rail, and then Dylan Davis is able to kind of put his hands down, and he actually settled a little bit for him. The 4 gets out-footed by the 7 here. The 4 rode the rail throughout and re-rallied to be second. seems like inside's pretty good today. I mean, you're getting to save ground, and if it's a good part of the track, it just works out.
You know, and this horse moves up Swinton to the lead. It's not like Dylan put him into some sort of full-out drive. He's just quick, and he broke a good 3/4 to a length slow in here. I mean, this was not a good break for him. It wasn't one of those random, you know, a quarter or a step slow.
For a moment, he was last early out of the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if the one horse, the first-time starter, Sir William, didn't break as slowly as he did, it would have made Swinton look even that much slower. It was almost kind of a little bit of an optical illusion. Sando ran on well to get checked for our friend Steve Bick.
Yep.
Finished third.
He did.
Dylan Davis picking up where he left off at a career meet for him at Belmont. Couple of wins today on the Sunday card, and Swinton at 3-1. So 8-1, 7-1, and now 3-1. Another favorite beats. Halfway home in the pick 6. We're going to take a timeout. Of course, our feature still to come this afternoon. That is the Winter Memories and Gam's Mission. She won 3 in a row earlier this year for Cherie DeVoe. Getting back to a distance probably more to her liking in our feature later today in the 8th. Stay with us.
War Dancer's Saratoga momentum continues as his progeny keep winning. First-time starter, She's Dancing wins by 7 lengths.
She's Dancing, making this look like a walk in the park.
Battle Scars 2 starts and 2 wins at Arlington.
Battle Scars first up on debut.
Pop the Bubbly at a mile and a 16th.
Pop the Bubbly to the outside of Comset. Pop the Bubbly gets the win.
And Show Me the Honey at 7 furlongs at Belmont.
And Show Me the Honey is the winner.
Become a part of the momentum. Visit wardancerstud.com to book your mare today.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Magic's in front. Good Magic pulls away from Sobomini. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Good Magic to the front of the field in the Toyota Bluegrass to win it. The champ is back. Good Magic in a good-looking performance.
800,000, 75, 875, 8.5. Pete, 775,000. Thank you.
Blood Horse Plus, available through bloodhorse.com, provides exclusive, timely, and unmatched content to subscribers, including Fox Sports, Blood Horse branded weekly programs, a detailed stakes winners section, behind-the-scenes videos from Blood Horse staff, on-demand access to deeper horse statistics, and a $5 monthly credit to equineline.com. Upgrade to Blood Horse Plus today.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today, as we just saw Swinton take them every step of the way in the 6th at Aqueduct. We'll be joined by winning jockey Dylan Davis. And Dylan, I had noticed, as this is a horse that's very quick, you kept him pretty quiet before the race. Was that by design to wrangle that speed?
Yes, well, we just stay with the pony. He does have some good natural speed, and our plan was to go to the front again, but today we want to harness it and then use it to finish up with today.
Given the fact that he was stepping up in competition too, the way that he did it today, you had to be impressed with what you felt.
Of course, AC did a great job handling him, and he gave me a few tips beforehand, and we kept him quiet with the pony. And when we got inside that gate, he comes out a step short, but he gets his speed going a little bit later, and AC reminded me with that. And he was kind of tight inside there, so that's why he kind of come out a little slow. But once he gets running, he got up to the front, and I like what I saw at the 5/8 pole. He was able to gear down a little bit and put his ears up, and once I got into that turn, I knew that they were in trouble behind us.
Second win today. How's it feel being back here at the Big A as we wrap up opening week?
Oh, it feels great. I love being here, and the cold doesn't bother me, and I'm excited for what's to come.
Dylan, congratulations.
Thank you. All right.
Dylan Davis was teasing me because the cold does bother me, Greg, but he had a nice 2-win day already and a nice ride on Swinton.
Indeed, and I know Irad Ortiz Jr., thanks to Keisha, won that meet at Belmont, but Dylan Davis was one of the big stories of that meet.
It just felt like a breakout kind of year for Dylan. Starting with Saratoga, he picked up so much momentum. You could see his confidence level blossoming. And to me, ever since he came back from being injured, Andy, it's like he came back hungrier, and physically he's gotten stronger. And then when you win big races, like a grade 1 up in Canada for Christophe, your confidence level climbs, and a rider needs to have a certain amount of swagger.
I think that we saw both riders, both he and Kendrick Carmouche, coming back very strong from their injuries. Both of them rode well. And I think one of the things that was fun about the Belmont meet, you saw about 7 or 8 riders within 10 wins of each other. And it shows how strong the colony was and how competitive the racing was, too.
Yeah.
Let's set the stage for the 7th on this card today here at the Big A. Current favorite. Looks like it's going to be the 6 in here. This is a tough. It's Turf Sprint, New York bred, first allowance condition in here. King Angelo, 5-2 on the board, who did have a win, maiden breaker at Saratoga, going 5.5. What'd you think of him with Irad, aforementioned, for Phil Surfy here?
I think he's not impossible here. There is a lot of speed in here. He's not going to be able to make the lead with the likes of the 5 inside of him and some others in here. I think he's a dirt horse. I thought it was crazy when a race he was in 2 weeks ago at Belmont, rained off the turf, and they didn't run him. I believe if he would have won that race, bad guy won it. And maybe the Connect's going to say, okay, we're going to try him one last time on the turf. Got a whole winter to run him on the dirt. We'll run on the dirt after this. I do think he could win here, but I think he's running on the wrong surface way too frequently, personally.
Well, it's an interesting take on it, but what you said right there, though, they only have so many more opportunities for turf, so you're going to have plenty of shallow dirt. The other thing, too, you never know. Sometimes horses that run on dirt have a tendency to burn their heels a little on the sand. Maybe he's one of those horses they feel like the turf's easier on him.
Maybe, but, I mean, you look at his last dirt race. He ran an 85 buyer. He lost to a horse that was around 2-5, and he came back, and he did break his maiden in the turf last time and ran well. So I didn't see any, lingering effects from that. I don't know. And I thought his first race was a superb effort. He broke slowly. It was a wicked pace in there to run against at 7 furlongs. I really think maybe you're right. Maybe he runs down, and maybe it's a physical thing, but his dirt races are better than his turf races. He's not bad in the turf.
But he's going to have to come from off the pace today, no doubt.
And the other thing is, I think a lot of those dirt races, speed is better in dirt sprints than it is in turf sprints.
Stanhope is fast, and he's right next door to him in post 5. Meanwhile, back at Churchill, their 5th race, it kicks off their late pick 5. It's a 5.5 furlong sprint on the main track. Allowance optional claiming field. Coltonator is taking all the money right now. He ran against a horse named Sir Alfred James last start, who did not back up the huge number he produced in that start.
I believe that he was claimed out of that race from Al Stall, Sir Alfred James. And I'm wondering if he just didn't run back as well for his new trainer. Just a thought.
7-5 favorite. Tyler Gaffleon will be aboard Coltonator. It has been an incredible couple of days for Tyler. His Friday in particular, 6 for 6, one with every single mount. First time someone had done that at Churchill Downs since I want to say 1907.
1907 is what I read. Right? 6 months. Give a lot of credit to his agent, Matt Musiker, getting him on live horses.
But Tyler delivers.
He puts him in position to win. He's never out of position.
I agree. He's aggressive. I couldn't agree more with you. And it's been fun watching his progression as a rider. Seeing him in Florida, and he started out, and he always showed some talent, but he's really done better. I think when he got with Matt together, they've been very successful. First 6-win day at Churchill since Corey Lannery did it in 2012. That's a long time.
2 wins on Saturday as well. Unfortunately, he did both mounts he had on that 6-win day in the last 2 races, unfortunately, were scratched. What could have been.
Well, could you imagine, right? I had a 6-win day once.
I don't believe it.
But it was 2 different racetracks.
Well, in the Meadowlands?
Yeah, 4 here and 2 at the Meadowlands.
Let's do it the hard way, Richie. It's a lot more chances, but it's a tough. The New York Riders, they went over the Meadowlands a lot, right? There were a lot of guys that were double dipping
racing
back then.
there when we used to start Labor Day and go to January, December 31st.
They went to New Year's Eve. Believe me, you rode there a lot. I went there a lot.
Coming through the tunnel here for our post-parade, and again, it's Coltonator with Tyler Gaffleon, the hot hand in Louisville, will be aboard. Here's Mr. Hustle, blinkers on from the inside.
Coming off the claim for Juan Cano, we'll see if he can build in his last race, which is a little slow, but gives him an outside chance.
League of Shadows, huge price at 18-1.
Yeah, more of a turf horse, can show speed at times, could have a say in how fast they go early, but not a contender.
Here's the big favorite, 3-2. Tyler Gaffleon for Greg Foley.
He has run a lot of races that are too fast for these. He's the worst to beat, but I'm afraid of the horse outside of him.
That's Heart Rhythm, 4-1. David Vance just claimed off of Michael Pino.
Yeah, and he turns back in distance, and he's quick. He's going to be forwardly placed. He's involved.
I think he's in front. I hope he is.
Julian Leperoux will be aboard, the 3-year-old son of Flat Out. Here's Verb for Keith DeSormo.
Yeah, I mean, his last 2 races are fast enough to give him a chance to get a piece of it. He could be a little bit forward, too, more than he was last time.
Yeah, he was a few lengths behind Colton Nader in that race. Here's Joel Rosario on American Mandate for Steve Asmussen.
Last time we saw this horse on dirt, he was winning, gets Joel Rosario. Feels like he has to be faster, though.
Yes, and he is also, I mean, I know he won that last dirt start, but this guy with the 15 seconds and thirds, I mean, this guy has blown some races at short prices where on paper he looked like he couldn't lose.
Take advantage of Twin Spires bet back offer. Place a win bet on select races at Churchill Downs Thursday through Sunday. You'll get your bet back up to $10 if your horse runs second or third. All you have to do, don't forget to opt in. Bonus funds credited every Monday. Download the Twin Spires app or go to twinspires.com. Let's go to Frank.
Thank you, Wolfie. 5.5 furlong optional claimer here. 6 horses in the field, and all 6 of them have a chance, perhaps except the 2. Watch the 2 jump up and win now. But the 3 Coltonator from the Greg Foley barn, Tyler Gaffley on aboard. He was second, beaten 5 3/4 by Sir Alfred James last time out. Sir Alfred James was just beaten a neck, finishing 3rd in the Bet on Sunshine last time out. So that's major form. This horse has had 2 wins here at Churchill from 13 starts with 4 seconds, 144,000 plus earned. And then a Verb actually did, the 5 horse here in this race, did actually beat Coltonator at Ellis Park when they met here 2 starts back. Verb finishing 3rd and Coltonator finishing 4th. But then Heart Rhythm is going to be in front in this race, I believe, if he breaks at all well. There's a certain amount of speed, like the 1 adds blinkers. Mr. Hustle finished second to Coppertown from Wesley Ward barn. He's a very nice horse. I was second of 5, so someone had to kind of be second, and Coppertown won easy that day. But I think the 3 Coltonator from the 4 Heart Rhythm and Julian Leperoux. And then I'd like to say that the 6 horse is the best looking horse in the race, American Mandate. But I said that his last 3 starts, and I bet on him each time, and he got beat. So I say the 3 from the 4, and we'll throw it back to you, Wolfie.
Frank, thanks. Yeah, that's a tough thing about Steve Asmussen's barn. They always show up looking sensational.
This guy's a funny racehorse.
5-2 on American Mandate.
I mean, some of these seconds that he has piled up have been absolutely remarkable. I think the Royal Dahar race, his race at Keeneland off the turf, these were races he just couldn't help but win. He just found ways to lose. He's kind of amazing, but he is back on the right surface. I agree, Richie.
I'm looking at something here, though. So American Mandate's 25 starts, 2 wins, 9 seconds, 6 thirds. Joel Rosario at Churchill Downs this meet so far, 26 starts, 3 wins, 9 seconds, 3 thirds. Very similar.
I'm still mad at Joel for abandoning us for Churchill. I'm holding out. I'm holding a grudge.
More on Joel, who looks like a lock for the Eclipse Award, the first of his career. And we'll tell you the history he is chasing a little bit later on in the program. 6-5 favorite remains Coltonator. And do you think he's going? It looks like he's going to get some pace to run into here.
I never know. I'm never confident anymore that there's going to be pace. In general, riders just aren't more as aggressive as they used to be. And I was going to ask you about this, Richie. Do you think one of the reasons for this is the abundance of turf racing? We run so much more turf racing we did when you were riding, especially when you were first riding. And maybe that's why guys just become more patient.
I think it's a number of reasons. I think that certainly could be a factor. The other factor to me is, and this is a generalization, this isn't everybody, I don't think riders work as many horses before they ride as we used to getting ready. And you were tasked with getting times correct, and nobody put a headset on you. Your boss said go 5 furlongs in 101, and you could go 1 minute and 4/5, 101, or 101 and a fifth. He'd give you a fifth of a second leeway either way, and you learn the feeling, the rhythm of it. Now riders aren't working as many horses to begin with, then they're not working as many horses consistently, so once they develop clock, keeping it tuned. And then trainers want to micromanage and put headsets on riders, and they're telling them how fast they're going, not letting them feel it, so they're not developing the same kind of clock. So guys tend to defer to somebody else because they're not comfortable on the lead.
How long did it take you to get that kind of feel and that clock in your head?
I would say a few months, where I was consistently working horses every day, and you learned what an 8th and 12 felt like, what an 8th and 13 felt like.
Good stuff.
Loading up for the 5th at Churchill. Rod Ortiz Jr. said on Life is Good he thought he was going 10 lengths slower
well, the
than he
good ones
actually
will fool you.
was.
The good ones will fool you. Zenyatta fooled me when I worked her.
Travis Stone with a call.
Quick beginning. Mr. Hustle hustled for that inside post, out for that lead too, and he comes on through to take it. So Mr. Hustle out to set the pace. American Mandate runs on into second. Verb on the outside takes over third. League of Shadows is fourth. Coltonator comes away fifth, and Heart Rhythm is at the back in sixth. No doubt about the leader. It's Mr. Hustle who whistles onto the far turn with a 3-length lead. American Mandate on the chase second. Verb is right there two-third the opening quarter in 22-1. Mr. Hustle rounding the far turn in control. American Mandate getting a little bit closer from second now. Verb's not far behind in third. Coltonator's trying to pick it up inside fourth. Heart Rhythm is fifth. At the top of the stretch, Mr. Hustle turning for home in front. A swarm of challengers, though. American Mandate comes on. Verb is there. Coltonator's in behind with Heart Rhythm. There's 1 furlong to go. American Mandate nose in front. Verb fights on. Heart Rhythm, Coltonator, 16th pole. American Mandate and Verb. American Mandate fending off Verb to win it. American Mandate the winner in the end. Verb game but second. Heart Rhythm and Coltonator.
All those seconds, 9 times in 25 starts, and American Mandate now wins for the 3rd time in his career.
Just need a little Joel Rosario, and tell you what, he did something I've never seen him do. He fought back gamely in a stretch duel.
This is all of Joel Rosario's ample skills on display. He was hands and heels, till surprising him late with the left-handed crop, getting that extra from him, demanding it. He's one of the strongest finishers we have. To me, he's a blend of George Velasquez and Lafitte Pincay in the prime. George's finesse and Lafitte's strength.
I think he's a phenomenal rider, a strong rider. It felt like the favorite, Coltonator. He didn't seem to like running behind horses in there. He seemed to want to get to the outside of the clear, never kicked in.
7th at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, outer turf, New York bred, first allowance condition. And War Terminator has been off for a little while for Jonathan Thomas. When he debuted, he was impressive as could be, winning by 2+ lengths. Then he missed by a neck against winners in start number 2.
I thought he would be favored here. I'm surprised he's not, and maybe it's a bad sign. You don't love the fact that he ran 2 races in basically 2 weeks when he started his career, 16 days apart. He ran winning races in both of them with a win in a second. He's supposed to get paced near for a trainer. How about this? 4 to 8 month layoffs for Jonathan Thomas in turf sprints. He's 5 for 11 with 8 hitting the board. And overall on the turf, he's 10 for 33, so he does get them ready, but I'm surprised he's 5-1 right now.
Is the favorite of the double.
Is he favored in doubles? Yeah.
Not in the pick 3.
He's probably going to come down, though. But
that is a big number on the board.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's ready to go off the bench. He's been impressive his first couple of starts. Gray's son, a war dancer. We'll have Manny Franco aboard. And there's Jonathan Thomas, 120 to 240-day layoffs on the turf over the last 5 years.
I like that stat because it's a 6-month layoff stat. In other words, it's not, you do 6 months or more. It could be a horse off a year and a half.
Yep.
These are horses that are just off for a sort of specific period of time.
Well, this is a trainer with a steeplechase background. He was actually a very good steeplechase rider, and then he worked for Todd Pletcher, a trainer that knows how to put miles in them.
And he trained Greg Wolf's favorite horse, Catholic Boy.
One of my favorites.
One of your many favorites, but I think he has a special place in your heart for costing you the most money of any horses in the 5 years you've been working with us.
Oh, my nemesis. Here's our post-parade Thunderbird Cafe, Linda Rice.
I don't think he's fast enough to keep up with the speeds in here, but Kendrick's got to go for position on the rail, and ran well to break his maiden 6 months ago.
Going high, Fat Choi. This one's quick.
He's quick, might not be quick enough for some of these as well, but he gets a rider that I'm sure won't be bashful about sending.
Heeman Harkey had a win at huge odds yesterday. Uncle George, he comes from way out of it.
He's my pick here. He was completely and totally buried in traffic in the stretch. He needs to break alertly, though.
Giramonte Luis Saez, 16-1.
Yeah, it took him 9 starts to break his maiden, but he's got a nice stalking kind of style.
Stanhope, he is quick. Blinkers coming off with Jose Lezcano.
I know he's folded. You can't get in his way. He's a bit of a runoff type. I'll tell you something. His last race gives him a real chance here.
There's King Angelo. He broke his maiden on the turf, going 5.5 at Saratoga.
He's consistent. He's hard knocking. Be interesting to see the kind of trip he works out today with all the speed siding on.
From route to sprint for Cotton Marcassi.
I think the cutback's going to help. I mean, it's not like he hasn't run well sprinting before when he was second behind Thunderbird Cafe.
Samay got on the turf for the first time last out, and that dirt speed translated, showed speed, but I don't know if he has kind of speed as Stanhope.
No, but I think he will be chasing him, and I think he adds to the speed signed on here.
There's War Terminator.
Yeah, War Terminator is supposed to be able to take advantage of pace. If he stays this price, he's either dead on the board or a great betting opportunity.
This horse, a 3-time winner on the turf, courageous contender.
Yeah, and more of a closing type. Got good speed to close into last time. Could get a similar setup.
Saratoga Flash, trained by Barkley Tag and Sakatoga Stable here with Dylan Davis.
I think he's another horse cutting back in distance that's run well enough sprinting. He broke his maiden at 6 furlongs and should get pace. I don't think he's out of it.
Funny side, Tis the Law connections there. And then 12, Constant Night, 68-1 outside.
Yeah, it would just be a huge surprise. Although we saw some surprises yesterday, this one would shock me a bit.
3 minutes to post here in the 7th at Aqueduct. Starts the late pick 3 on the card. Uncle George, we saw him in his debut winning from the clouds. This was back on October 9th. His 4-year-old return to the races. Andy, talk about this trip for Uncle George.
Well, watch him here. He breaks a little slow. He's back in last. So the key was, even if you're a closer, you don't want to get left. Because you get left, you're even in worse position. So at this point, I think Irad realizes, I'm going to have to stay inside and hope to get a little bit lucky coming off a layoff. Well, the opposite happened, and I'm not blaming Irad in the least because he's got run here. And, you know, with these turf sprinters, Joel's the master, saving ground and angling out and getting clear. Watch right here. He has run. Irad's asked him a little bit, and he's moving forward, okay? Gives him a little bit of a whack there, but right here runs into an absolute wall of horses, and at this point, he's basically eating them, Richie.
Yeah, but I think what you said is right. When you get off slow like that, you've already put yourself at a disadvantage. So now you're trying to play the hand you were dealt, which was not a very good hand, and you're trying to make up for that start. So I'm with you. I don't blame him for staying inside, but I think this is a horse that we saw when he broke his maiden first time out, rallied on the far outside, and he got good pace, but he could get that kind of pace today, and he's going to have to work out the trip.
And I think so, Greg, Javier Castellano is going to be very clearly aware of that, right?
Sure.
Well, let's head back to Acacia.
Well, we'll start with the one off the layoff and War Terminator for Jonathan Thomas. And he did come into the paddock at first being just a little bit vocal, but looking back, that's kind of how he was earlier this year. Would have liked to see him maybe mature a little bit as far as that. But once they got the tack on him, he got very focused, nicely into the bridle, and moving beautifully out there on track. He is the horse that does tend to carry a little bit more condition, as a lot of the War dancers do. So while he's not exactly one of those chiseled types, I just don't think that that's exactly how he is. He certainly looks fit enough off the layoff, and I thought just the races that he ran before the layoff were so strong. I'm really curious to see what we can get from him today. The 7, Cotton, I love the turnback. He's one that never really went on as a 3-year-old, didn't kind of grow and developed as it looked like he might. He's a smaller, kind of stouter type. I think the turnback and distance should suit him, and he's also been really sharp today. Very intrigued by him cutting back in distance. Talking about the pace, we know what Stanhope does. He goes to the front, he's a runoff, he's hard to control. The blinkers come off today, and I will say that he is one that has looked very well in his last couple of starts. He's also wearing a Houghton bit with that extra bar underneath to add a little bit more control for his rider, for Jose Lezcano. Let's see if he can hold on to some of the speed, because he actually wore a pretty significant cup as far as the blinkers did go in his last couple of starts, and now those come off. Maybe that'll help him to settle a bit more today, Greg.
Acacia, thank you. 10-1 on Stanhope, and that price slowly starting to come down as you look at Stanhope. On War Terminator, the 9 as well off the long layoff here. He's down to 3-1, the 9.
Yeah, that money coming in. You said that he was favored in the double. He just makes a lot of sense to me for a trainer that the stats you guys showed that does well with horses off the layoffs, and I think he gets the right kind of setup. I think there's plenty of speed to set up a late run.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd get a better price on the 3 Uncle George's compared to the number 9. Now maybe they'll go up to 9-2 or 5-1 and 5-2 or something. But I mean, at comparable prices, I think the 9's a more likely winner. I just happen to like the 3 in here.
4-1 on Uncle George. Going to come from very far back. As you look at the 5 in here, there's Stanhope, the speedster. Jose Lezcano. We'll see if that equipment change makes a difference for him. May moving in line. He was beat a length at this level last start. He was trying to do it on the front end. He's going to have a lot of company up front. Could be tough going here for him today. 7th from Aqueduct, it's the 6, King Angelo, your current favorite. Let's go to John Imbrial.
Waiting for King Angelo and Constant Knight. They're all in. And they're off. There is Samé, who's going out for the lead. King Angelo now moves up to challenge. King Angelo now takes the lead. Samé is running in second. Gonghai Fatjoy advances at the rail. And then it is Stanhope on the outside. Saratoga Flash runs in 5th. Uncle George is next in 6th, steadying there in between horses. Giramonte. Down at the rail is Thunderbird Cafe. And then comes Cotton, followed on the outside by a Constant Knight, passed there by War Terminator, and at the back is Courageous Contender. The quarter went in 22 and 2/5 seconds. King Angelo with a narrow lead over Stanhope. Saratoga Flash now moves up on the outside to take 3rd. Gonghai Fatjoy is down at the rail and racing in 4th. And then comes Uncle George in 5th, followed by Samé. War Terminators on the extreme outside. The field is in the stretch, the half in 45 and 3, and it is King Angelo who has the lead here by 2. Saratoga Flash on the outside runs in 2nd. In between horses is Stanhope as they come down for the finish. It is King Angelo with the lead. Late move on the outside from Uncle George, but no threat here to King Angelo, who wins by better than 2 lengths. Uncle George was 2nd. Gonghai Fatjoy completes the trifecta.
King Angelo, he's now won 2 of his last 3 on the turf. Rad Ortiz Jr., Phil Serpy.
A lot of snatching and grabbing in this race for this horse to be able to get that kind of easy lead in a very tepid pace. He's a nice horse, and when he got to control at a very moderate pace, he was obviously going to be very hard to beat. I think that Uncle George ran extremely well to be 2nd.
Why did Connection to Stanhope not want to go to the front?
They didn't want to win, I guess.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
Let's look a little bit deeper though. And ultimately, it didn't work. But they took the blinkers off. That kind of tells you they're looking for him to settle more. They feel like he blew a 4-length lead on a very fast pace last time. So it feels like the instructions for Jose Lezcano was, listen, we took the blinkers off. We want him to settle more. We think he'll finish better. It was misguided, but I think, me reading between the lines as a former rider, I guarantee you that was the instructions in the paddock.
He's a free-running horse. He just needs to let him roll, and he's just not going to win races like this. I mean, you look at this race, Thunderbird Cafe, Gonghai Fatjoy, Stanhope, Samé.
Yeah, none of the speed showed up.
They just made no attempts.
King Angelo got comfortable and
just let this horse just waltz along. Make no mistake, this is a very tepid pace for a turf sprint.
Speed is always dangerous.
It's a little frustrating. It's a nice horse. I'm not knocking him, and he ran fine. But, you know, this was a race where it was almost impossible for there not to be a fast pace, and there wasn't one.
Lemon Drop Kid, 4-year-old. Now 2 wins his last 3 starts. And again, another favorite beat. War Terminator actually did go off late as the 5-2 favorite. We have not had a favorite win in the pick 6 sequence. We got 2 legs remaining. Prices from this one. When we come back, we'll get to our feature ahead. White Frost off a long layoff. Looked very talented when she was last running, winning a grade 3 for Bill Mott. We'll be back.
standing at Gainesway.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on FS2. Thanks for spending part of your Sunday afternoon with us. Program brought to you where you can play all the races we bring you. Naira Bets. Download the app. Go to nairabets.com and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. King Angelo. Irad Ortiz Jr. able to get to the front and keep on going. And now 2 wins the last 3 starts. Doing it the same way.
I feel like it's one of those bad jokes. How many such and such does it take to? How many speed horses does it take to get a contested pace? Right?
Now, listen, I have an Uncle Angelo.
Good for you.
If there's a King George, maybe I would have had it just on names.
This could be very bad for him if they decide not to leave him near this winner and run him on the dirt.
Well, you're right. I mean, some of the figures I look at too. I mean, that dirt start a couple back was a lot better than what he's done on the grass. But maybe Mig's right. It's something to do with how his
just like Cigar. You know?
Well,
there was a reason they weren't running him on the dirt. I don't know what it was, but
well, some horses with longer pasterns
right,
tend to burn their heels a little bit, and it's easier to keep them sound running them on turf. I don't know. I'm speculating.
No, that's perfectly fair.
Seems to be working out for him, though, on the surface he's on right now.
Well, if I was him, I'd be happy about running good on turf because that means I wouldn't have to spend the winter in the cold.
Look who's favorite in doubles. Look who's favorite in doubles, Greg.
No favorites have won yet. We have a near $20 horse with He's a Stone Cold Fox. Foxtail, I don't know how Foxtail went off at that price.
You liked
Were you
Foxtail
surprised by that,
great
Andy?
deal, too.
She had terrible form. I liked her, but you have to be a little. Yeah, that's my feeling. I thought she'd be loose in the lead, and if she could still run it all, she'd win. I bet a lot of horses like that. I bet one yesterday with Rick Schosberg, and I was talking even Rick earlier, and he liked her too, and she wasn't effective. I mean, but at those prices, you don't have to be right that often.
Feature coming up next. It's the Winter Memories. It's a great field lined up for this mile and a 16th stake on the inner turf. We'll get to the field and who's opened up as a favorite in just a moment. That one expected to have a lot of talent. She's shown it in limited starts so far. Let's look back to Winter Memories, the race, the one this race is named after, the 2012 Diana, one of a couple of grade ones for her.
She was very good. Jimmy Toner, Jerry Bailey, and has become a prolific producer as well.
The legacy of the Phillips horses, Phillips family horses, many of them trained by Jimmy Toner, some John Veach, is incredible. And Winter Memories is up there with all the really good ones. I know we have at least 5 stakes in New York named for Phillips runners. Wonder Again, Memories of Silver, this filly, Winter Memories, Plenty of Grace, and Soaring Softly. Can you think of another one?
Soaring Softly. Did you say Memories of Silver?
Yep,
yeah, I'm
yep.
sorry.
And a great legacy to Jimmy Toner, too. Such a great trainer.
Tremendous horseman. You know, it's kind of a little bit sad for me. I go by his former barn at Belmont because he's based out of Fair Hill now. Just missed having conversations with him. Terrific horseman.
And I've told this story before. Years and years ago, Memory of Silver was running back in the 90s. And I was even a bigger nobody than I am now. I was with a friend in the backstretch, and I didn't know Jimmy Toner at all, and we were looking, and Jimmy took me over to her barn to see Memories of Silver, and it makes such a great impression on you, and such a positive impression, and what that can do for fans in the game, make you better fans.
Not a bad way to go out, too, with a grade 1 Diana victory.
Yeah.
No, not bad at all. And but the whole family, like you said, the Phillipses and what they've done with their broodmares, and but you're right. Get people close to horses. Yeah. Let them
even
get
guys
near
like
them.
me, even degenerates like me.
Means a lot.
Yeah.
You'll become a fan of the sport. It'll be impossible not to be. We're going to take a time out. The Winter Memories 2021 edition coming up next. Wide open field. Could it potentially be a New York bred for Jorge Abreu and Runaway Rumor? We'll go through the field when we come back.
Maximum Security proves he's the real deal with a gate-to-wire win in the Florida Derby.
Champion 3-year-old.
Maximum Security has won the TVG.com Haskell Invitational.
11 triple-digit buyers.
Maximum Security. He smoked them in the Cigar Mile.
Grade 1 winning 4-year-old.
Maximum Security takes them all the way in the TVG Pacific Classic.
Secure your mare's future. Maximum Security.
For 3 generations, the Bond Racing Stable has held to a simple philosophy. If you take care of the horses, they will take care of you. That guiding principle drives every aspect of operations at the family's Song Hill Farm and Racing Stables. From breeding to breaking, racing and retiring, our commitment to our horses is reflected in everything we do. Now you can join our Grade 1 winning team with racing partnerships starting as low as $3,000. Bond Racing Stables, 3 generations of thoroughbred excellence.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Good to have you with us. Gorgeous day here in South Ozone Park, New York. We have the feature. Coming up next, the Winter Memories. Mile and a 16th inner turf, purse of $150,000. And a horse, Andy, you've been talking about all week long. So excited to see her back. She's the favorite right now. She hasn't raced since January for Hall of Famer Belmont. White Frost.
Yeah, it's such a tough game. You know, you think about horses that got eliminated, scratched in the Breeders' Cup last week. White Frost, in my opinion, could have been as good, if not better, than any 3-year-old turf filly in the country. I mean, Conlima, she ran down here. And Conlima had the absolute run of the race, slow pace, and they came flying home. This horse got in trouble in a tough trip and still won. The horse who's third, you see in those Klarovich silks, that horse came back and ran a huge race to win a stake to main expertise in her next start at Tampa Bay. She got hurt too, by the way. Hopefully she can come back. But this was a very, very strong field early in the year. 86 Spire, the beginning of her 3-year-old season. She could have been running mid to high 90s by now.
Yeah, beats Conlima, who we saw win the Saratoga Oaks. But the way she finished, I mean, they no pace on at all, 48, and the way they came home, I mean, she's been working up a storm, too, up in Saratoga.
You just never know. You know, we were asking about it, and she apparently had gotten back into training, I think, early summer, late spring. There's another minor setback. And obviously you're going to take your time, and, you know, that's the most important thing is to bring them back there healthy. But you worry sometimes in these situations they're not going to come back as good as they were. If she does and she builds on it, I think she's too good for these. But this is, we talked about this before, it's a super tough race. I think one of the reasons for it, not only is it the end of the turf season here, and people they want to run, they don't have many opportunities. With Churchill not running turf racing this fall, the Mrs. Revere for the same division, you know, there's that racing exists. So there are a number of horses near Gam's Mission for Cherie DeVaux that would have been there.
Yeah, grade 3 regret winner on that lawn over there. Our benefit here in New York, and that's why this is a great field. We have a New York bred again we're going to get to coming up, Runaway Rumor. Been tough beats the last few starts. We'll get back to her in a moment for Jorge Abreu. We're going to head back to Churchill Downs. Late pick 4 coming up next. 5.5 furlongs main track, maiden special weight, back to normal. The 4 is today the day for this Mike Maker runner.
It's the eternal question in horse racing, isn't it? Is today the day? I'm not trying to beat him today. You know. There are first-timers, though. The 7's taking money for Tom Amoss. That horse has to be dangerous. Into Mischief taking money.
Well, the 6-5 favorite. 2 starts back, faced Jack Christopher, who would have been your favorite, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, winner of the Grade 1 Champagne. Then faced next out winner Howling Time, and has speed as well. Very likely could be in front in this race. 6-5 on the board with Tyler Gaffalione. We told you how hot he has been as well.
The 1 not taking any money has a big pedigree. This was a half to horse who won a Grade 1 in New York this year, Mischievous Alex.
Yeah, big pedigree there.
Yeah.
But when they're taking no money, it just feels like, well, they just haven't shown much in the mornings.
Yeah.
Here he is, 26-1, outwork out of a Speightstown mare for Steve Margolis.
You can have a very good pedigree and still not be able to run. No money for this one, but a big price if you want him.
Big price next door, and Mizzen Man as well, who's 45-1 first time out.
Yeah, showed brief speed and stopped on debut.
Here's Atris, trained by Victoria Oliver.
They're running this horse in the turf because of the sire, but the dam side pedigree, it's all dirt.
Big favorite, even money on Back to Normal.
Just look at the company line. See, he, was 4th, beating 11 3/4 lengths to Jack Christopher, who would have been your favorite in the Breeders' Cup.
But he was on the lead in that race, too.
He outran him, and he was almost, he almost won by 9.
Yeah.
Mumayez, 9-2 for Danny Pites.
He came to life last time. He duplicates his last race. He's a major threat to the favorite.
34-1. Jackie's back, start number 2.
Yeah, he's going to have to improve. Was a bit green first time. He hopped at the break, but he's going to have to show considerably more.
The Tom Amoss first-timer that Andy had talked about earlier, higher standard by Into Mischief. There he is.
I don't think I can ignore the money this horse is taking. It's a very good sign for Tom. He's betting to the favorite like this.
Next store, another first-time starter for Steve Asmussen, a Connect 2-year-old.
Yeah, first fall out of a 9-time winning mare. Good steady works. Gets Brian Hernandez, not Ricardo Santana, who rides the other Asmussen.
Stirred at pot. Trinidad 2-year-old debuting at 21-1.
How about this trainer? I have never heard of Genevieve Londano, but she's 6 for 16. It's pretty strong. Not many starters, but they run.
And outside the other Asmussen, this one Into Mischief, $350,000 purchase with Ricardo as mentioned.
Yeah, another one that's got, good steady works, was working at Indiana Grand, though, and it looks like he probably worked with the 8 Fully Connected out of the gate on November 5th, where Fully Connected got the 8 horse. The other Asmussen went 2/5 of a second faster.
Time for our market mover. Partnered up with Harley there. It is Higher Standard, the Into Mischief for Tom Amoss. Jimmy Graham, and must have been showing some talent in the morning yet to be taking this money into a horse who is a heavy, heavy favorite in here. So 9-2 for the debut. Into Mischief out of a Northern Afleet mare. Mink Surprise for Tom Amoss with his main man, Jimmy Graham, out there at Churchill. If you want to bet the market mover or anybody else in this field, go to twinspires.com or download the app. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
A very, very good maiden special weight here, guys. And when I said the future stars of tomorrow, I believe there could be a star or two in this race. Looking at them, they pretty much all look similar, and there's no standout among them. But the 4 is a standout on form, because this horse was 3rd, beaten 2 3/4 behind Howling Time and Osborne. Osborne's in on Wednesday, but Howling Time is the Dale Roman's horse. Not this time. 2-year-old was 2 for 2, won the Street Sense last time out. Then he was 4th, beaten 11 lengths behind Jack Christopher. That's the Munnings of Chad Browns. That was favourite for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, was unfortunately scratched attached. So that form is definitely good enough to win. He steps back in trip to 5.5 furlongs. His last 2 starts were at 6 furlongs, where he got a little late. Maybe this 5.5 furlongs will be right up his alley. Then I noticed the 2 Steve Asmussen horses. Looks like they worked together out of the gate last time out. 48 and 2, 48 and 4. So they're fully connected. The 8 horse with Brian Hernandez was the fastest of the 2, but I honestly think that the 10 looks best. Pressure, like he looks like he's a nice runner. He was a $350,000 weanling purchase. He's by Into Mischief out of Hold That Tiger mare Koi Cat. So I think a lot of respect for him. And then the 5 Mumayaz, who was a second behind the Mike Maker trained Fan the Fire last time out, second at Keeneland and going 6.5 furlongs. Now back to 5.5. He's by Bodemeister. But then, you know, like a lot of these horses, they all look similar. And then a pedigree play maybe is the one Inexorable. He's by Outwork out of White Pants Knight, who's by Speightstown. Means he's a half brother to Mischievous Alex, who was a Grade 1 winner early on this year, also won the Grade 3 Gotham and the Grade 3 Swale. So on pedigree, you got to give him a shot, but I'll take the 4 horse Back to Normal with Tyler Gaffleone, from the 10 Pressure Richard Santana, and the 5 with Mitch Murrell aboard Mumayaz for Danny Pites. All right, Wolfie, back to you.
All right, Frank, thank you for that. Minute to post here coming up, and a race that kicks off the final 4 here, this late pick 4 sequence on the card at Churchill.
Yeah, you know, my concern with the 10, and as much as we respect Frank's opinion, I respect it as much as all of us, not getting bet. Steve Asmussen, first-time starter, almost 10 to 1. That's just a bad sign.
I also don't like when you see horses have more than 3 gate works. It just makes me feel like they're having a hard time learning their lessons, getting the hang of it. Steve is so good with his first-time starters. They usually break pretty well. But when I start seeing them accumulating gate works, 4 or 5 gate works, it makes me question just how handy they are away from there.
Interesting. Well, we'll find out. And, you know, I don't. At the end of the day, Back to Normal's the horse to beat in here. He's improved his buyer figures in every race. He's got a lot of speed. Unless there's a firster that has a lot of speed, he's likely to be in front in this field, and 5.5 furlongs shouldn't really hurt him in here. He's just way the horse to beat. It's why he's 4 to 5. I don't want to take a big stand against him. I'm going to root for Tom's horse. We always root for Tom Amos, higher standard, and he is taking some money, though he's drifted up a little bit. And the 10 starting to come in a little bit, but still.
Muddy track to deal with for Back to Normal.
It's nice.
Issue at all?
They've got, to me, they've got a good seal on it. They're not going to get down as deep into it. They run a little bit more over the top of the ground. I don't really factor it in.
I don't think about worry about wet tracks that much. You know, in general, horses will run. There are horses some that really can't handle it. There are some that will improve, but for the most part, horses run their races.
I know Andy remembers when they used to have the mud marks in the racing form and the horse named Cintillo.
Oh yeah. Cintillo won his first 6 mud races. He was a remarkable horse. He broke his maiden at Belmont as a 2-year-old, ran 134 and change. First out, he won a stake, like a Stymie or one of those races. His lone loss in the mud, he lost to Forgo in Forgo's final career victory in the slop at in the Woodward.
In the Woodward, where he just got up and beat on his pleasure.
No, it was the Marlboro.
Oh,
that
the
was
Marlboro.
I think this was 77 or
No,
78.
following,
Silver Series was second.
Yes, you're right.
So that must have been 70.
T.J. Kelly, Cintillo?
Cintillo was T.J. Kelly, sure. If you can name who trained Silver Series, then you get a free dinner.
A guy from Florida.
No.
Pick 4 starts here. 6 from Churchill. It's Back to Normal, the 4, the big favorite for Mike Maker. Here's Travis Stone.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Higher Standard hustled hard right off the mark. Back to Normal's flashing speed toward the inside, and these 2 fast out of there. Stir to Pot comes on to grab 3rd. Pressure is racing up into 4th. Mumayaz is 5th. Fully Connected comes away 6th. Atris is 7th. Mizzen Man is 8th by 4. Inexorable's back in 9th. The trailer is Jackie's back. The leader is Back to Normal, who comes on through to take charge. Higher Standard keeping pace, though they round the far turn once again, coming together. A margin of 3 back to Stir to Pot in 3rd. A swift fifth opening quarter, 21-4. Round the far turn, and now Higher Standard is back in front. Higher Standard takes lead at the quarter pole. Back to normal, trying to keep pace from second. They're head and head off the turn. Mumayaz comes through down toward the rail. Sturdapot is also there. Atris dives down toward the rail, then it's pressure. There's 1 furlong to go, and Higher Standard with something left. Higher Standard turns back to normal. Sturdapot is up into second, but it's a distant second with a 16th to go. Higher Standard, a sharp winner. Wins by 6 decisive lengths on the wire. Sturdapot was second, Inexorable rallied for third, and Atris was fourth.
This was very impressive, not just the margin of victory, the way he did it and how quiet Jimmy Graham was on this horse as well.
Higher Standard beat the gate, broke fast, broke on top, outbroke the 4 back to normal, allowed the 4 back to normal to lead him a ways, but was always going better than the favorite. He was always traveling in hand, and he had more in the tank when asked. Very nice prospect for our friend and colleague, Tommy.
Yeah,
well done. You guys both said it. We were watching the race, and they're heading around the turn, and they're moving up front, and the guy wasn't moving at all.
Back in New York, feature coming up. Here's our post-parade, Plum Ali for Christophe Clement.
I think you're going to see her be forward today, and I believe she's going to run her best race this year.
Gam's Mission, Grade 3 regret winner earlier this year.
Major player here. Love seeing those Lazy F Ranch Silks talk about Forgo.
Grand Motion with Bataya, been off since last October, won the debut from the Clouds.
Yeah, well, one first time out, so good win fresh. This is an aggressive spot for a horse eligible for non-winners of 1.
White Frost, the favorite, Grade 3 winner of the Swedish Chant.
Very impressive, winning her first stake race at Gulfstream over the winter.
Now, it was back in January 30th. Haven't seen her since. Here's Miss Dracaris.
I think she's another horse that could be forward. I like to see Dylan be aggressive. Far from impossible.
Bipartisanship, another Graham Motion filly in here.
Came from way back to Breaker Maiden at Laurel's, going to have to improve.
Was third to Pearls Galore, ran on the Breeders' Cup Mile this year. Out of sorts, Brittany Russell.
Yeah, she's run okay, but she has no speed, and I just don't know if she's quite as good as these.
The third of the Graham Motion fillies, Invincible Gal. Blinkers coming off.
Gets Hall of Famer Johnny Velasquez, has 1 win, 5 seconds. Let's see if the blinkers help her break through.
Lack
of blinkers, excuse me.
Runaway Rumor went by the New York bred for Jorge Abreu, and here's Flown, blinkers on.
Maybe the blinkers put her a little bit more in the race, but what kind of trip does she work out from out there?
And they better be blinkers have an engine, because this is a tough spot for her.
Yeah.
3 minutes to post. In our feature, let's go downstairs to Acacia Courtney.
We'll start with Gam's Mission, who we haven't seen since the Saratoga Oaks, and this is a very high-energy type of filly. And I remember speaking to her trainer, Cherie DeVoe, before that race, saying that since she had been able to school before that, go through the holding barn, just kind of get acclimated to everything, she'd really settled quite a bit. Seeing a big difference from her today. She's so much more composed. I also like the cutback in distance. Obviously, it makes sense trying those longer distance in the Belmont Oaks and Saratoga Oaks, but I think that this just really suits her well. She does have some good size and scope to her, and just love how alert and focused she really seems to be today. The 6 White Frost, first time off a layoff. In that Swedish Chant, it just seemed like Junior Alvarado had so much horse at every step of the race and never had room to run. She's had a bit of a growth spurt coming back, too. She was always a filly that had a lot of substance and carried her condition, but she's now grown up and filled into herself a lot as well. She was sharp. She has had the tendency in the past, too, to be a little bit quirky, a little bit energy and high-strung prior. And while she was forward and nicely into the bridle and showing that she was ready for game time, she wasn't doing too much. She once again made a lovely impression off the layoff, and fun to see her back on the racetrack here today. The 3 Plum Ali, I agree with Andy. I think she'll be forward today. Last time in the Sands Point, I asked Christophe Clement what the instructions were, and he said, I told Manny to be 1, 2, 3. Just feeling that that's going to be a better running style for her because she gets headstrong. She comes in with the pony alongside. She has cotton in her ears. She too has been much more settled this afternoon, and she has continued to do that and come along. So we'll see if that transfers onto the racetrack and she can contain herself a little bit more and save that energy for the latter part of the race, Greg.
All right, Acacia, thank you. 9-2, Plum Ali. She started out extremely precocious back as a 2-year-old, won the first 3 starts of her career, including 2 stakes, one of them graded. She has not won since.
I love the instructions. I think she's a bit one pace. I don't think she has acceleration or a turn of foot, as we call it in our industry. And I think if she's close, she'll continue to grind. I hope she's 1, 2, 3 early because I think that's her best chance of winning.
I couldn't agree more. She's really bet today at 9-2. She's taking a lot of money. If she can run back to her wonder again, so she's made the tour of the Jimmy Toner Train Tour Stakes. She would be very tough, but she's going to be more forward here, and I think it will benefit her. There is an argument that she was just buried in traffic last time and maybe got a little bit discouraged, and that's why she didn't move forward in the stretch.
Now 5-1. Favorite is the New York bred filly, who we had to unfortunately kind of skip over in that post parade, Andy. Runaway Rumor.
Well, she's been terrific, and I think if you own New York bred fillies and mares stakes quality, you're hoping that she can win here and keep running in great stake races. Because if she starts running in the New York bred stakes for fillies and mares next year, she's going to win every single one of them with this kind of form she's had. She'll just annihilate those fields. She's a very, very nice horse. Larry Gleishman's been a big supporter of the New York bred program for a long time. You see so many good horses over the years, homebreds, and she's got to be one of the better horses he's ever bred. Up there with J. Ray,
He breeds good horses.
He's had a lot of good horses over the years.
Jose Lezcano aboard the 11. Daughter of Flincher. New York bred, trying to, again, beat Open Company in stakes competition. John Imbrial with a feature, The Winter Memories.
And they're off. That was a stumbling start for number 4, Gam's Mission. From the outside, Runaway Rumor, Invincible Gal. From the inside, it's Plum Alley. And Plum Alley has a narrow lead. Mr. Karras is right there. Invincible Gal is on the outside and in third. Then comes Runaway Rumor, who is on the outside of White Frost. Those two are heads apart, 4th and 5th. Quinevere is down on the inside, racing in 6th. Flown is alongside in 7th, with Bipartisanship next in 8th. After that stumbling beginning, Gam's Mission races in 9th and Out of Sorts, and Bataya is the trailer in 11th. And the 3-year-old fillies are heading for the backstretch after a quarter in 23 3/5 seconds. Plum Alley leads by a length and a half. Invincible Gal is second by a half length. Mr. Karras down on the inside and in third. Then Runaway Rumor running in 4th, about 4 lengths from the front. White Frost is down towards the rail in 5th, and alongside is Flown. Then Quinevere and Bipartisanship right together, followed by Gam's Mission Out of Sorts, and the trailer is Bataya, and the half was running 49 3/5 seconds, and Plum Alley has the lead here. Invincible Gal runs in second. Mr. Karras down at the rail with Runaway Rumor on the outside. Plum Alley by 3/4 of a length. Invincible Gal is in second. Mr. Karras, Runaway Rumor, they're right together with White Frost racing in 5th, and on the outside is Flown. 3/4 in 15 1. They are in the stretch, and it is Plum Alley holding on to the lead, getting clear by 3. On the outside, Runaway Rumor along with Invincible Gal. White Frost is down at the rail. They're coming for the finish, and it is Plum Alley with a front-running score in the Winter Memories. Manny Franco aboard. Plum Alley, the winner.
I'll just put her on the lead for the first time in her career. And Plum Alley back in the winner's circle for the first time since her 2-year-old campaign.
Well, Christophe Colomb made no secret of it. Talked to him yesterday, he was going to go. And we both agreed if the 1 wasn't aggressive on the inside, that she could have the lead. And she finally gets back to that terrific form she has as a 2-year-old. And aggression wins horse races. It looked like White Frost got the bob for second. The logical horses all showed up in this race. I think that the 4, Gam's Mission, ran extremely well to make such a big run in there when you consider that, nobody was really picking up ground.
No, and she had to lose ground, and she was closing better than anybody, but she did stumble a bit at the break, so she kind of lost her footing. But I loved when I saw Plum Alley on the lead. For a filly that just doesn't seem to have acceleration, put them on the lead, lean on their stamina, allow them to keep striding forward. The 6 ran extremely well. White Frost waiting for room, finished okay down along the inside. But Plum Alley, they played to her strength, and that was allowing her to use her stride.
And I'm sorry, that was Mr. Karras, I believe, who she was involved in the photo with for second. I thought it was the 11 horse in there. And White Frost ran well in here. It's sort of an indecisive ride a little bit, never really aggressively, never looking to make a move to get in the race. And when you have a race that's controlled in the front end, it's hard for horses that are behind them, and she's a good horse.
Goes off at 9-2, won her first 3 starts, 0 for 7 since, all against top-level competition. First time in her career she's put on the lead. Andy, you said you knew this from a day or two ago, that this was the plan. I wonder if the rest of the riders in the jockey room knew that too.
I mean, it's not like Christoph made a secret of it. Geisha was talking about it. You know, we talked about it yesterday. And he said to me a number of times this year, I don't know why the riders in their head that she has no speed. She can be more forward. And he was sort of, you know, he's not a trainer that has, you know, aggressively sends his horses, but he kept saying to me, now, at a certain point you want to say to Christoph, well, you're involved in the conversation. Why don't you tell them to be more forward? Well, he did, and it worked out.
Well, and you know what I love? Manny Franco rode her out of there aggressively. And when she cleared off, then she put her hands down and her ears came up and she was so relaxed and comfortable about it. She rated herself on the lead. But Christoph also is one of the trainers that said, well, I get them ready and then I let the rider do their job. But sometimes you've got to map it out a little bit.
Eventually I think eventually he just probably got like more and more frustrated.
Yeah.
And eventually he said, you know, and I think, you know, Manny did what he wanted to do last time. He did get her a little more forward. He was happy with the ride. She just got a little unlucky.
Yep.
And in this case, even more demonstrative. We'll go. And Manny executed the plan perfectly. Manny's such a good rider. And sometimes I feel like he's his own worst enemy. But I think he's a very, very talented rider. I wish he was more aggressive. I think if he's more aggressive, he'd win more races.
This ride was aggressive. It paid off. And then physically, he's such an athlete. He's one of the strongest riders we have. He really is a physical specimen. Plum Ali was good today, though, and got the right trip, right setup, right ride.
And for White Frost, in a little bit of trouble there, long layoff.
Right.
Connection's happy with this, you think?
I think you're happy. Listen, I'm sure they're happy to get her back on the racetrack, frankly, after that. You know, and Billmont's going to have to decide what he's going to do with her in Florida. You know, does he point for a race, whether it's Gulfstream or Tampa? Because it's a long year, and I believe that White Frost has a lot of good stuff in front of her. I think that Plum Ali can, too. If they're more aggressive with her, it's going to pay off well for her.
Yeah, certainly did today. 9-2, 3-6, 7-4 in our feature, the winter memories, prices, and we'll have the nightcap for you when we come back.
Catholic Boy, one of only 3 American 3-year-old colts in history to win Grade 1s on both dirt and turf, including the immortal Secretariat. A 6-time graded stakes winner from ages 2 to 4, he was the fastest 3-year-old of his crop over 10 furlongs. Now his first foals have arrived. Dual surface Grade 1 winner Catholic Boy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS2. Good to have you with us. Program brought to you by Hill & Dale at Alapa, our feature in the books. Here in the Sunday card at Aqueduct. First time in her career, Plum Ali on the lead. She goes gate to wire and wins for the first time in 8 starts after beginning her career as a 2-year-old, a perfect 3 for 3.
Speed is a good thing to have, and use it. Make other horses work to keep up with you. Manny did a great job. First quarter was a little quick, slowed it down the middle, picked it up around the turn, relied on her stamina.
But that's the thing you see in racing. You're better off going a little faster than maybe you want to in that first quarter, because it always seems to happen you get to back it down the second quarter.
Plum Ali, White Frost, Miss Dracaris, 1, 2, 3. Let's head downstairs to Acacia.
I'm very pleased to be joined by winning trainer Christophe Clement. And Christophe, you were just saying to me, Plum Ali, she really deserved this win, as she has had some really unlucky trips this year.
Without a doubt, she's been very unlucky from the beginning of the year, either with a lack of pace or being boxed in or different. You know, she's a nice filly. She's always deserved to win a stakes, and she's done it already last year. But now I'm delighted, and I'm just very grateful for the owners who've been very patient with us.
Your instructions that you had told me to Manny were to be forwardly placed. Tell me a little bit about that decision to have her go to the lead today.
And, you know, over the last few days, I think we finished second 3 or 4 times to horses who've been winning on the lead. So obviously it's kind of speed favoring. And the bell is also, it's very kind to the bell. Every horse seems to be winning close to the bell or on the bell. And so when I spoke to Manny this morning, the idea was to be 1, 2, 3, but not to, you know, if possible, to be on the lead and not to give it easy to anybody else. And he rode a beautiful race.
Great job, great ride by Manny. And she seems like mentally she's come along too. She always has the pony with her, a little bit of a quirky type of filly. How is she to train?
I mean, she's very manageable, but she's got, you know, very high energy, touch anxious, but not bad. You know, overall manageable, and she can run. You know, it's great. We can put her away, and hopefully, you know, the owners will keep her in training next year, and we can have a nice year next year.
Would hope to see that as well. Congratulations, though, on the win today.
Thank you so much.
Plum Ali finally gets a little bit of luck and a clear trip today, Greg.
Leading the way throughout, Familiar Silks. Michael Dubb, owned in part by Nightcap Stables as well. Down her first Samurai, now a 4-time winner. And Christophe Clement had to feel like, whew, probably a long time coming for that win.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be frustrating because she's such a nice horse, and she had a terrific last year as a 2-year-old, and she's run some okay races, so it has to be a great relief because this race isn't graded, but it really should be. I mean, this wasn't a grade 3. It's a grade 2 field. This is a very, very strong field.
This was a very good field, but yeah, that has to relieve a lot of frustration because she has had one compromising trip after another this year. You avoid all that when you go to the lead.
Yep. Don't need luck when you're in front. No. Everyone's got to come get you. And that back-to-back days, too, that we've had stakes that probably should have been graded stakes. Felt like it. There's been some tough competition here on the turf over the weekend. As we take a look at this pick 6 follow along, and beginning with He's a Stone Cold Fox at 8-1, these payoffs are big.
Yeah, I feel like the parlays are on, where are we, around 320, about 3,000, about 18,000 or something for $2, so a little under 10,000 for $1. And this race last year, the horse who won this race last year won a grade 1 in her next start, and she was injured, but she recently sold for $1.6 million. That's Duopoly, horse who was 2nd or 3rd, high opinion. She got beaten a nose in the Boston Spa. This is a race that needs a grade.
I'm still impressed with the math he just did. You know, you lost me with the
you want me to start with the 2 + 2, Richie, and we'll move on from there?
You know what? You're going to give me a
By the way,
headache.
so the payoffs in the pick 6 as we look at this field for the Nightcap, 7/8, non-winners at 2 lifetime. Favorites, Rainbow Gal right now, the 11, $81,584 right now in the pick 6. We'll talk through this field more in a moment. It's going to close out this Sunday card in New York. We, of course, have more coming up at Churchill Downs as well. We just saw an impressive 2-year-old for Tom Amoss debut and win. Up next, 6 furlongs, 20,000 starter allowance. More in this field when we return.
Now, 500,000, well done.
Audible let loose on the outside to take the lead. Audible by 3. Hofberg can't get him. Audible, no doubt about it. Audible on the inside turns away the challenger. Free drop belly. No confrontation at all. It's Audible to win the Holy Bull with style.
Audible on the outside races to the lead. Audible wins by 2.5.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Resorts World Catskills, your closest casino resort experience, is so close. Stay the night and get your game on. Play live table games or thousands of slots. Resorts World Catskills.
Introducing Adelphi Racing Club, the horse racing syndicate offering more than just fractional ownership. Enjoy the thrill of an interactive thoroughbred ownership experience competing at the sport's highest level. Attend events where you'll interact with top trainers, industry professionals, and club members. We've cheered on winners from coast to coast at top tracks such as Santa Anita and Saratoga.
And it will be Exotic West.
Become part of a group that celebrates success together. Visit adelphiracing.com and join the club today.
Back on America's Day at the Races. Card coming to a close at Aqueduct. We're 13 minutes away from the Nightcap. You can bet it with Naira Bets. Get signed up, started. Take advantage of that offer, that $200 deposit match bonus at sign up with that promo code, bonus 200. Go to nairabets.com or download the app to get signed up and started. Well, we talked about the payoffs. Big in the pick six to the favorite, 81,584. There are 6 horses that result in the pick six carryover. The 2, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 9, the 10. All could carry. Andy, you think realistically of those who could potentially carry it over?
I think the 9 and 10 are the most logical of those 5, 6 horses, obviously no favorites. And you can see from that, I guess, a $244,000 carryover, almost $245 into Thursday. Thursday's card's good. Friday's card, which we just drew, is about one 10 or 12 horse field after another and 10 races. Friday racing here, and the weather's going to be good this week. Racing at Aqueduct, and we've said this a lot, but it's true. In the fall we get here, it's great racing.
Well, this is a look at Bonus Baby. Jeremiah Englehart, Dylan Davis looking for his third on today's card. And I know, Andy, you like this horse a little bit.
I worry that, that speed has been kind of good today. That concerns me a little bit. There's just nothing Dylan can do about it. I mean, she just doesn't have any speed. But I don't know why Jeremiah Englehart has been insisting on running her on the turf. Other than her first race in the turf, she's never run very well. And she's run fast enough to win this race in the dirt. So while I respect that the 11 is one of the horses to beat, I'm scared of the 8 back channel. I thought Bonus Baby at a little bit of a price was an interesting horse.
Right now, 8-1, right at her morning line. By the way, we told there's a little weather coming in Louisville. Hailing?
Hail.
It's a little hail, Churchill Downs. We'll get you back there for the 7th shortly.
We had a tornado touchdown near us 2 nights ago. Trees came down, landed on a guy's car. Thank God nobody was in the car. Basically put the car in half, landed on a barn, took the guy's barn down. All around me, didn't touch my place.
Wow.
You had another encounter with a bear, I heard a rumor.
Yeah, just the other day.
That bear's really stalking you. Have you thought about getting a restraining order against the bear?
It might not be a bad idea, but we've had a lot of activity lately, and I know can't be just one bear. I mean, there's a lot lately around us.
11 minutes away from this Nightcap here in Newark. We'll get back to it. Let's see how bad this weather is.
Don't bring it here, the bear.
In Louisville. It's like tough to tell, but may have
so far
subsided.
It looks okay.
Did we get a bad report?
I just hope that our man Frank's okay. That's, the horses and Frank.
Here's our post parade. This one again, a 20,000 starter allowance, 6 furlong sprint. This is Alexandros.
The trainer, here's a stat for you, off of Where in the Dirt, and this horse ran very well last time. 1 for 43 over the last 5 years.
Lost in limbo, 22-1 next door from Michael Lauer.
Yeah, it just looks like landed in a pretty tough spot here.
Beat by that horse who won his 8th in a row earlier this week, Beverly Park. Impressed, Eric Foster sends out the 3.
A bit of a fringe player, but looking at the record, 4 wins with the 17 seconds and thirds, maybe a filler role in the tries.
Nice appearance. 'Tis Our Turn seems like more of a turf horse and has been off since September of last year.
You said it all there, Greg.
Big price at 17 to 1. Yes, he can. Can he?
I think this horse can show speed. I think this horse will be involved early, particularly with Jimmy Graham aboard, who's an aggressive rider.
Very quick. This horse, 5-time winner from 15 starts. Machismo, 5-2 with a big warm-up here.
His last was a disappointment, but all his prior figs were very, very strong. This horse has made a lot of trips around to a lot of different tracks.
11-time winner, 8 seconds in 36 career starts. Here's the favorite, Tyler Gaffalione on Drina's Star.
Yeah, 9-time winner, making the first start off the Mike Maker claim, and this horse is also quick enough to be involved early.
I love the way he looked on the track, too. Cove Blue, Juan Cano second off the claim.
Feels like Drina's Star and Cove Blue are the two speeds in here. We'll see if the pace gets hot or not, second off the claim.
And Divine Leader outside, more pace.
Yeah, this horse, I don't know if it's fast enough to keep up the two inside, but I don't disagree. And ran a big race last time, 2 back, and then tried a mile last time, so maybe less distance will be his friend.
2 minutes to post here in the 7th from Churchill, the final pick 3 of the evening. Under the Twin Spires, and it's still Drina's Star, who is the 2-1 favorite. Maker claiming off of Diodoro, 2 of the best claiming trainers in the game. You want to bet this race, you can do so and take advantage of that Twin Spires bet back offer. Place a win bet on select races at Churchill every Thursday through Sunday. Get your bet back up to $10 if your horse runs second or third. You have to opt in. Bonus funds credited every Monday. Go to twinspires.com or download the app. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Well, Wolfie, this is probably the most competitive race on the afternoon. You got 9 horses in this race. They've won 50 races between them. And Machismo, the 7, has been favourite in his last 8 starts. So a little bit of a strange thing for him today. He's going to go off at 7-2 today if he stays the same as he is on the board. David Wolochuk, the trainer, is winning at 33% on the year with 30 wins from 92 starts. And this horse was second, beaten 3.5 lengths. 3.25 lengths behind Beverly Park. Last time out going 6.5 furlongs at Keeneland. He's going to like the 6 furlongs here today. He was beaten by Alexandros 2 starts back, beaten 3/4 of a length, going 7 furlongs here at Churchill Downs. Went 7 furlongs and won 21-4, but he got clear at the 3/4 distance where he went 109-1. So he's going to be tough because I think that Drina's Star on his outside is a horse that needs the lead to win. And I don't think that the horse is going to get the lead so easy here. I do have all the respect in the world for Mike Maker, who claimed this horse from Robertino Diodoro last time out for $62,000. And the one horse, Alexandros, who is just so competitive, so honest. This horse has 8 wins, 6 seconds, 5 thirds from 35 starts, 3 for 7 this year, including 3 of his last 4. He got his picture taken, and last time out he beat Machismo, but that was at 7 furlongs. He comes back to 6 today. We don't like the rail for him. He's on the board at 3-1, but I'm going to go to 7 Machismo, to the 8 or to the 1 Alexandros, to the 8 Drina's Star. 4-1 on Machismo right now. That's a very good price. Wolfie.
All right, Frank, thanks for that. Post time coming up here in a moment. Again, 6 furlong sprint in this 20,000 starter allowance at Churchill. On the right-hand side of your screen, of course, the Nightcap in New York will bring you once we conclude the 7th at Churchill Downs. We have riders up in this 7 furlong event at Aqueduct. Well, we'll get to that one in a little bit. 3-1 on the favorite back in New York, and that is Jose Ortiz on Rainbow Gal. Drina's Star, who's the favorite, the 8. I couldn't believe when he got beat at Canterbury, and that was a night we actually were carrying the Canterbury races. I've been a fan of this horse for a while. Talented runner, 16 times first or second in 31 starts.
Like horses that show up and run hard every time. This horse has speed, too, and should be involved.
And you have to like the fact that not only the 21 out of 31 times in the money, but 9 wins. You know, more wins than seconds and more wins than third. You like horses like that. When they run, they have a, you know, they win more often. I hate horses the opposite, right? They're most of their good races.
Do you look at him? Do you think he has to have the lead to win?
That's a good question. Well, he did rate 4 back when he won, so I guess he doesn't. Now, I think the problem for him is you would think the biggest pressure is going to take is outside of him, notably the 9. tough to let that guy go outside of you. You know, that presents problems. So he's sort of forced to go.
Travis Stone with the call. Here's race 7 from Churchill.
Let's go now.
They're in the gate. And the rough. Machismo, good beginning. Divine Leader is there. Cove Blue toward the outside. Drina's Star, yes, he can. Fires up as well. Races on early. Drina's Star on through to the front. Cove Blue right there second. Yes, he can. Backs off to settle third. Divine Leader is fourth. Machismo broke on top, but is back into fifth. Lost in limbo, in tight toward the rail. Sixth. Impressed is racing seventh by 4. Alexandros all the way back. 8 lengths off the lead, just ahead of trailing Tis Our Turn. 21-2 was an opening quarter. They're onto the far turn, and it's Cove Blue in front. Divine Leader is right there, cranking up the pressure. And Impressed comes on 3 wide from third. Drina Star's back into fourth. Machismo angles outside from fifth. Lost in limbo 6 toward the rail. Alexandros is only 6 lengths off the lead as they come for the top of the stretch, where Divine Leader has shook loose to a 3-length advantage. Impressed is fully extended while second. Drina Star fights on. Machismo. Alexandros down the center of the track. There's 1 furlong to go. Divine Leader still clear by 2. Impressed is trying hard. Drina Star fights on. Machismo. Alexandros. Nobody's going to catch Divine Leader. Divine Leader streaking under the wire to win it by 3. Impressed was second. Drina Star was third. Machismo and Alexandros.
Divine Leader getting back to sprinting. He'd won 2 in a row since he was off for about a year and a half. And they tried him against the Warrior Cody's Wish. He was big things expected of him. That was impressive. We're back in New York. Post-parade for the Nightcap. Here's Carly Hustle. Post 3.
Carly Hustle. You know, her race 2 back is fast enough, so maybe getting back on a dry track gives her a chance to get a piece.
Post 5 for the stablemate here, Hollywood Gina.
Yeah, I just think her good form has left her. She does drop a bit.
The rail, going to go to Gagliano, who's adjusting some equipment there.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get the halter off, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult. The buckle gets stuck. I never liked getting on horses with the halter. Let me have the horse. I want to have control. Gagliano, recent races would certainly not good enough.
35-1, huge price. Here's Bonus Baby that we looked at earlier.
Yeah, I like Bonus Baby, but she is going to need some pace to close into, and it's not easy to do here, but I think getting back to a dirt sprint helps her chances.
Big player in Dom's feisty girl, Michelle Nevin, just won.
Well, here's part of that pace that the 3-horse Bonus Baby will need. Horse caught the right field, I think, last time, though.
Hold up with the 5 as well there, Mission Trail.
Yeah, sorry. She just feels like she's way overmatched. She'd be a carryover horse.
We jump to the 8 back channel for Rudy Rodriguez.
A horse that has been most recently on turf, didn't break her maiden, was a good second when she was claimed from Chad Brown on dirt.
Here's one of the horses that could result in a pick 6 carryover, Creative Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, Gustavo Rodriguez, the horse, since he's gone on his own from his brother, his horses have really been running, and she cuts back on a turf race, but her race 2 back's not good enough. She's got to run back to her best numbers.
Sweeter, the 10, that would result in a pick 6 carryover as well, 10-1, and the favorite, we'll go ahead on the 10, Mig.
Well, she's one that's hoping there's a lot of pace on, too, because she's going to need help on the front end to come with her late run if it's good enough.
Here's the 6, Bellamy's Party Girl, who went by. Big
7.
Number of 55-1, and then 54-1 next door on Lucky Sitka.
Gets back to dirt, but she hasn't run particularly fast on dirt. She'll be a carryover.
And here's the 1 to beat on the board, 2-1. Jose Ortiz for Orlando Noto, Rainbow Gal.
Amazingly, she's running 3 straight wet track races. We haven't seen her in 6 months. She's dropping off that, but she was claimed for $25,000. So it's not as big a drop as it could have been. But still, these kind of drop downs, layoffs, favorite, that's a little concerning.
Off since May for the favorite. Let's go downstairs to Acacia.
Yeah, it seems that she does have a lot to overcome today. However, she looks terrific. There is a lot of good size from her, so I can certainly see why Connections thought that she could handle the 7 furlongs last time out. But she's very fit, really well muscled. She handled herself really, really well in the paddock and out on track, where Jose Ortiz took her right away from the pony and gave her a lovely warm-up out there. So we'll see how she does coming off of it. But I was intrigued by a couple others who had some more recency, starting with one half of the entry, which is the half that I do prefer. The one Carly Hustle, I think the drop should really suit her. She is a bit of a nervous type. They have to saddle her on the walk and just kind of handle her a little bit carefully. But she looks the best I've seen her. Her coat looked great, carrying really, really good weight. And once she got on track, she seemed to kind of get her feet underneath of her a bit more with Jose Lascano. The 3 bonus baby, she doesn't look like a turf horse at all. She looks like a dirt horse. She looks like a dirt sprinter through and through. And she actually was really sharp. She got on her toes once they put the tack on. Dylan gave her a big warm up under there, and I think that he will try to get her into the race maybe a little bit more early on, Greg.
Acacia, thanks. And bonus baby, the 3, her lone win, it came sprinting on the same type of racetrack we have today, a muddy track at this distance at 7/8 as well. So a couple positives there. Both Acacia and Andy like bonus baby. 7-1 on the board as we're getting set for this nightcap here in New York. Again, the pick 6 carryover, 81,000 to the now 9-5 favorite outside the 11. Rainbow Gal. And there is the favorite with Jose Ortiz. Will be the last in line. Let's go upstairs to John Imbrial for the nightcap from New York.
Set now for race 9. And they're off. Number 2, Galliano, jumped up at the start, is at the back of the pack. From the outside, it is Rainbow Gal, and now Dom's Feisty Girl moves on through. Dom's Feisty Girl is the leader. Rainbow Gal is next in second with Mission Trail in third by a head. Back channels on the outside and in fourth. And then down at the rail is Bonus Baby, who's running in fifth. Hollywood Gina on the outside in sixth. It's almost 4 lengths. Back to Bellamy's Party Girl, who is racing in seventh. And then down at the rail, it is Carly Hustle, who is next in eighth as the field heads for the far turn. And then we come back to Creative Legacy, followed by Sweeter. Farther back is Galliano. And way back is Lucky Sitka. The half mile in 45-4. Dom's Feisty Girl has the lead here with Rainbow Gal on the outside running in second. A break of 4 to Bonus Baby next in third, followed by Hollywood Gina. And on the outside, it is a back channel. They are in the stretch. It is Dom's Feisty Girl and Rainbow Gal. Dom's Feisty Girl, Rainbow Gal now takes the lead. Dom's Feisty Girl is back running in second as they come down for the 16th pole. It is Rainbow Gal in front, getting clear now from Dom's Feisty Girl, and it will be Rainbow Gal coming off the layoff to win the nightcap. Dom's Feisty Girl was second, very close for third between Sweeter and Carly Hustle.
A little quick early for this kind of level on the front end. In the end, Rainbow Gal with the victory after the long layoff.
She was ready to roll. They dropped her down. She gets the win for Jose Ortiz, and a good job by Jose making sure to get her in the game. You think you're riding the best horse? Get him in the game.
Yeah, and he's stalking the 4-horse Dom's Feisty Girl, who, you know, you knew was going to be the speed. And when he was in close proximity to her going 7 furlongs, you know, you could see how confident Irad Ortiz was. And Jose Ortiz, I apologize.
And I think Dom's Feisty Girl ran well to be second in this race. You know, 7 furlongs. This horse hounding her the whole way. She ran well.
Go 22-2 for the opening quarter, and you hang around, beat the rest of this group. Not bad. 11 for very close for second, or third, excuse me. Get one more look at it here. Look like the one.
I tell you,
there's your winner.
For a big field, that was a pretty clean start, too, for a big field. You usually don't see, you see more contact than we saw in the last race. That was kind of nice to watch, a clean break.
Jose Ortiz closing out this card for Orlando Noda and the Noda brothers. 3-year-old filly by Bustin' Stones as the favorite at 2-1.
Congrats if you had the pick 6 here. Not, you know, it was a navigatable sequence. I'm not saying I would have hit it, but by any stretch, but it was navigatable, and I think it's, you know, it shows. I mean, I obviously had to play and put some money in. I like the $1 minimum, and I can't say enough how happy I am that we stopped with those Rainbow Sixes, which I think are shouldn't be, have no business in the game, and I love that we're back to the carry. There's nothing better than a carryover that you get paid out. You know, I mean, carryovers create excitement. Yep. You know, so
it gives you a chance to dream of a big score on a daily basis.
I've made them. I've hit them. I had one for $160,000 a long, long time ago, but I've hit my share of pick 6s.
I like that you said this was navigatable. I would have needed a co-pilot to get through this sequence.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hit a pick six once, paid $10,000, logical results, that you finished up the day with a winner by 10 lengths for Rick Schosberg. Good Friday, 2006.
It was an Al Fried horse.
Yeah, absolutely. Swap Flipperoo won the feature. And there's a full out of Swap Flipperoo. That's why I was thinking of it running. And Thursday at Churchill, I was looking up.
A lot of history.
It all comes full circle.
3 wins in the last 4 starts, and the last 3 times sprinting, undefeated for Divine Leader for trainer John Ennis.
Well, I guess the secret was cutting back in distance, right? Last time out, they tried to go a mile. They met the very talented Cody's Wish, getting back to a shorter distance. This horse dominated, and I assume Sophie Doyle was still on this horse. I like seeing Sophie do well. She's a good rider. Doesn't get a ton of opportunities, but she's a good rider. She's ridden a lot. She's only at 18% this year with 450 mounts.
Sharp
Strong.
$16,000 claim, too, huh?
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Last time sprinting ran a 92 buyer at Keeneland.
And that good outside position with some speed, let the others do the dirty work inside of you and pick them up, and that's just what Sophie did.
11, 3-8. We move on to race 8. 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs. Allowance non-winners at 2 lifetime spot. And Bilotti right now, Brendan Walsh, Joel Rosario. The favorite, and this one has been the beaten favorite each of the last 2 starts after winning his debut at Ellis. What do you think?
Another cutback, right? Much like the last race. Tried to go a mile last time, found it a little bit too far. A better figure in his debut in his 1 dirt race sprinting.
We're going to take a timeout. Has there been more anticipation for a head-to-head matchup between Nixco and Life is Good? If so, when was it? I don't know.
Oh, well, maybe the Breeders' Cup when he was meeting Essential Quality and Hot Rod Charlie. But that, right now
this
I'm
is
excited.
Bigger, isn't it?
Yeah. It's exciting.
Same
it's
style. They're both fast.
Yep.
Fireworks.
Going to be fun to watch if it happens. We hope it does. We'll preview the Classic winner and the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner potentially going head-to-head next. We're back on America's Day at the Races. Good to be with you. Program brought to you where you can play all the action at Naira Bets. Download the app or go to nairabets.com to get signed up and started. Nightcap at Aqueduct. Jose Ortiz and the Noda brothers close it out. Rainbow Gal off the long layoff with the win. Hadn't raced since late May.
Logical result.
Yep.
Well placed, dropping down, well placed in the race from the outside. Got it done.
Yeah, I mean, when you win like this, you found the right spot. A more aggressive spotting, and they were not going to get the money. In this particular case, they found the right spot. And she got the job done. I thought the second horse, I didn't like the second place finisher, and that horse ran well at the 7 furlongs. You know, it was a very honest pace. I know nobody really closed. And it did seem like today the track was very kind to forward runners and horses on the inside. And you have to think with all the rain we've gotten at different times. You know, we got so much on, early Friday, and then yesterday that storm blew through. I think it's been a little tougher. The track, I thought, had been very fair up until today.
Pick 5, $1,964. If you add in an 8-to-1 shot to begin it, could have made that 81,500 plus.
I mean, that's a tremendous payout when you think about it. I mean, the parlay is about a little over $50,000 for $2, so it paid more than 3 times the parlay. That's quite a payout.
That's why carryovers is so much fun.
Yep.
Get payouts like that. All right, we previewed it going to break. Breeders' Cup Classic winner, your likely horse of the year. Potentially with a date with Life is Good in January in the Pegasus World Cup Invitational.
It would be exciting. I would make a substantial bet it doesn't happen. I just don't see Nix Go wanting to end his career in a situation where a horse like Life is Good could really take it to him. And he's done it all. He's horse of the year. He's going to stud with a great career. Don't go to stud.
You're saying it like he has no chance to win the race.
I didn't say he has no chance, but I don't know that this is one where the risk is. I mean, he'll still do well, but I think it'll leave a bit of a bad taste if he doesn't do well. I could be wrong.
What if he wins?
Hey, does it really help him? Is he going to get more at stud? Is he going to get more people to go to him if he wins it? It's thrilling. It's some money, but
is it gonna hurt it? I mean, he's accomplished what he's accomplished.
I think if the other horse takes it to him and he doesn't run well, it says, oh, he won those races because he was able to control in the front end. I think it hurts.
Let me come at it from this point. He got the first quarter very controlled in the Breeders' Cup Classic. He ran from there on out.
He did. The fractions were wrong. They've updated.
Oh,
they were a little
okay,
slower.
right,
a little slower. No, I don't. I'm not saying it was a gift. The race. I think he's terrific. I'm a big fan.
But styles make races, just like styles make fights, right? Life is Good is sprint fast. He might just outrun Nix Go.
Yeah.
I mean,
he outran Jackie's Warrior.
Yeah. I mean, so, it will change the dynamic of things quite a bit. I'd love to see it as a racing fan.
Oh, I would too. I'm skeptical of it happening. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if it does, they both want the front. Maybe it lead to neither one of them winning the race.
Well, that's the possibility.
So if they do both show up, and you can sit off the pace.
Nix Go is not winning rating. I don't believe. I don't believe he is, and I don't see how. And I agree with you, Richie. Life is Good is faster than he is. Fast as he is, Life is Good's faster.
Yeah.
He comes out of the gate like a shot out of a cannon.
He does. I mean, just Nix goes fast. This horse is sprint fast.
Would love to see it already. A lot of opinions. Of course, Life is Good trying to take the path that Nix Go has taken, winning the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, going on to win a Classic. That's likely what Life is Good wants to do, going into his 4-year-old campaign. Look at this lineup in the tail of the tape, what they've accomplished already to this point. 2 absolute stars in this game. And for Nix Go, if he does go to the race, that is the swan song you would expect, and then off the stud.
Quite a resume there. Over $7.3 million in earnings, a Breeders' Cup Classic winner. I have a question. Let's go a little bit of different direction here. If Life is Good wins the Allen Jerkins and is undefeated at this point, is he in the conversation for 3-year-old champion?
Yes.
Okay, but the fact that he didn't, that kind of negates him having a shot.
I mean, I know you and I feel like he won it. Not that we're not taking anything away from Jackie's Warrior, but he ran such an exceptional winning effort that I think you and I very much agree that it's not always about where you finished. He ran superbly in that race, but he didn't finish first. And I think awards matters more. I don't like the argument that, for instance, Essential Quality had a bit of a rough trip in the Derby, so I would rate him better than that and deviate a little bit. I think the results matter for awards.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I also think that if Mike Smith didn't have the earlier experience with Life is Good bearing out, and he had felt confident enough to drop over on Jackie's Warrior, he wins the race, no doubt.
And I agree. I did not agree with that. narrative, but I believe I was wrong. And I believe there's a very strong argument that Mike, and I'm a fan of Mike Smith, and I don't like to knock him. This guy, there's a reason he's big money
Hall
Mike.
of Famer.
There's a reason he's winning these big races, but this might be one that, in retrospect, he kind of blew it a little bit.
Wait to see if this showdown happens. We hope so. And yes, some awards very much still up in the air. Horse of the Year is not one of them, though. It looks like Nixco has wrapped that one up. We got more coming up from Churchill Downs. 8th race is next. Allowance non-winners at 2 lifetime. 6 furlong sprint. And both Blue Kentucky and Bilotti and Homebrew the 8, for that matter, 3 of them, all taking support and vying for favoritism on the board here.
Yeah, I mean...
Here's Homebrew.
I don't know what to do with Homebrew. We saw Brad Cox win on a trainer change yesterday, and the horse improved. This horse does not have natural speed, though, and that bothers me because I think one of the horses he has to beat in here is Blue Kentucky, who's going to be in front. And I think he is compromised unless Brad Cox has suddenly trained a ton of speed into him. Tactically, I think he's badly compromised.
I think it's a fair point. I mean, we've seen speed do very well at Churchill Downs and being more towards the inside do very well at Churchill Downs. I will say, though, at Homebrew is interesting from this perspective as well. The mares had 5 foals, and they're all winners. And I love when horses come from mares that throw winner after winner. And he could maybe just be sharper with the race and put himself a bit closer.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. It's a live race. The second horse came back to win, a first-time star. He improved his Beyer figure 5 points. Third horse improved his Beyer figure 9 points in victory. Fourth horse improved his Beyer figure 6 points. He didn't win, but he improved. So there's an argument he's coming out of you have to be careful with a lot of firsters. They'll improve a lot second time.
Sure.
But I think there is an argument, at least, that he's better than he looks on paper. But I do worry from the running style that he may be compromised, because I think the horse he has to beat is the 5, and he may have his own way on the front end.
Fair 5 is favorite right now. There's the one we were just talking about, Homebrew, and those Silks of Gary and Mary West. Street Sense Colt. That debut came at Laurel, as Andy talked about, though. Productive race back on September the 10th, and now moving to Churchill Downs to try and remain perfect here. First time in against winners. And Blue Kentucky the 5, Bilotti the 6, both with more experience, and not both, but Blue Kentucky with a race already over the track here.
Which I always put a little more credence when horses have won over a particular racetrack. I think it strengthens their case, no?
It doesn't hurt their case, that's for sure. It's not a bad thing. I mean, you look at him, he's just faster sprinting.
Post-parade coming up. We're going to start with another one taking play on the rail. Magnolia Midnight for Dallas Stewart. Tried him in the Grade 3 Iroquois after winning on an off-the-turf race at Colonial.
That's the problem. His win didn't impress me, but I can't make an excuse for his last race.
He had to face Major General in that Grade 3 on this track, so cuts back to sprinting. Ready Pursuit, 15-1 next door. Klimt, 2-year-old.
It went to the lead, but that was going a mile and controlled the pace for Maiden, claiming 50. This is tougher.
Yeah, that was a Keeneland, claimed out of that race. Rafael Bejarano aboard. Those pink blinkers on. Here's Lucky Shot.
Yeah, Lucky Shot just feels like he's in a very tough spot. He's not fast enough based on his races.
24-1. The win came at Hawthorne for him. Here's Big Boss Ben for John Ortiz.
A horse that's been running on turf. The Dam Bullet Sister was a winner first time out in off-going for trainer John Terranova and jockey Trevor McCarthy.
Blue Kentucky, here's our favorite.
Yeah, I just think he's way the horse to beat, cutting back in distance, and I think he's in a position to lead these on a merry chase.
Godolphin with Bilotti for Brennan Walsh.
Yeah, gets Joel Rosario. I think it's always a good thing. Takes the blinkers off, turning back in distance.
32-1, Zip It Scotty.
Yeah, he just feels like he's probably an underlay at 32-1 based on his PPs.
And 3-1 on Homebrew, Brian Hernandez Jr.
I just love it. Comes from a winning family. He won on debut, and maybe he can step forward off of that and maybe put himself a little bit more forward. I do agree. I think he is somewhat up against it from a tactical perspective.
So 3 minutes to post here in the 8th. 2-year-olds going 6 furlongs. Our market mover, Wayne Catalano, and a 2-year-old by Include. Blue Kentucky right now at the same price as the favorite. We've got 3 of them, 4 of them really, between 5-2 or 3-1, half the field. And Blue Kentucky is one of them who is going to be turning back in distance, as we talked about. Won at Ellis, dominated that group to win by 5 lengths. If you want to bet the market mover, anybody else in this field, download the Twin Spires app. or go to twinspires.com. 2 minutes to post here in this 8th race ahead, and tells you that public really does not know where to go when half the field's about the same price on the board.
Yeah, I'm surprised, to be honest with you, because I really think that the 5 should be a solid favorite in this race. I mean, from a buyer speed figure standpoint, this horse is faster. I'm going to excuse the horse. First of all, the horse stretching out didn't even make the lead going a mile, but had a wide trip that day. And I just think that, I mean, isn't she supposed to be in front unless Tyler's very aggressive with the 1 maybe? We'll see. I guess just we'll see. I thought she was going to be very tough.
Well, let's go to Frank Lyons for more.
All right, guys, so I'm as confused as anybody is, but definitely a horse that looked great out on the racetrack is the 1 Magnolia Midnight. This horse cost $320,000 as a 2-year-old at the OBS April sale, so that means he must have looked very well, and he also must have been precocious, and he showed precocity in his second race, going 5.5 furlongs at Colonial, where he won by 7.5 lengths. Now, that is not the best of form, but it's good enough, and the way he looks out here, I think that coming back to 6 furlongs from 1.16 miles in the Iroquois last time out, behind Major General, he was beaten 19 lengths, but this is a lot easier spot. He gets Tyler Gaffleone aboard for the first time. And then we go to the 5 Blue Kentucky. He was a winner by 5.5 lengths at Ellis Park. 3 starts back. Then it's kind of disappointed a little bit, but did go a mile last time out. He's by Include out of a Proud Citizen mare. So you would expect him on the pedigree to go 2 turns or at least a mile, but he didn't quite get the mile. And so now Wayne Catalano, who comes off a Breeders' Cup win with Aloha West for the same connections, Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, and Aaron Wellman. He sends this horse back to 6 furlongs, whereas Fort beaten 5 3/4 behind Chatterlot, the stakes winner from Wesley Ward's barn. And then Baladi, the 6 horse, also looks good. Also is coming back in distance, gets the blinkers on, was favoured last time out and disappointed at Keeneland in a non-winners of 2 races. Gets Joe Rosario aboard for the first time. Jimmy Graham has been aboard him in his first 3 starts, puts the blinkers on today and returns to 6 furlongs. And then Homebrew is getting a lot of play. He's 5-2 from a 7-2 morning line, but he's they're betting on him like he's going to run today. And he was a winner of his only start at Laurel on the Carlos Marquez. He won by 2 lengths there in a maiden special weight. He was trained by Kelly Breen, I'm sure for the same connections of Gary and Mary West, who also bred this horse. So that was the case. And so he's getting played today, but I can hardly judge between the 4 that I gave you, 4 out of 8. But I will take the 1 Magnolia Midnight to win. And Wolfie, back to you. Not much information, though.
Well, at least he's given us the biggest price on of those 4 at 3-1. Thanks, Frank.
Again, drawn towards the inside. I misspoke earlier. I misread, actually, looking down. Bellotti has blinkers on the turnback. I said blinkers off, and gets Joel Rosario, who's on a march to 34 million is the record by Everett Ortiz. I remember when I had the bug, I finished 4th in the nation, money won with 5.5 million. Shoemaker led with 6 million. That was the leading rider in the country.
It's how the game has changed. No question about it. You missed the boat, Richie. You were born too early. But then you wouldn't be here with me and Greg. So look at it that way. There's things that are more important than money. Right, Greg?
Sure. Picking winners, right?
That's also good.
All
now
right,
we have nothing.
4 of the 8 at a very short price on the board. And as they load up here, it looks like the 5 Blue Kentucky, for right now anyway, for Wayne Catalano. The 1 to beat, turning back in distance. Let's go to Travis Stone for the call.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Zip It Scotty bounces out on top. Big Boss Ben comes out well. Blue Kentucky slicing up on through. Lucky Shot comes through toward the rail, and Lucky Shot now on through to the front. Big Boss Ben second. Blue Kentucky comes away third. Magnolia Midnight on the move inside fourth. Homebrew fifth within striking range. Bellotti comes away sixth and is 5 lengths off the lead while wide. Zip It Scotty broke on top but is all the way back in seventh, just ahead of Ready Pursuit. They're on the far turn. 3 across the track up top. Blue Kentucky comes on 3 wide. Lucky Shot at the rail. Big Boss Ben is right there. Magnolia Midnight comes on 2. Homebrew and Bellotti, 6 of them tightly packed. And Homebrew had to steady there right outside the quarter pole. 21-3 for the opening quarter mile. They come for the top of the stretch, and Blue Kentucky comes away with the lead, but Bellotti saunters up alongside. Right there, to Magnolia Midnight. Homebrew's trying to get back on track. There's 1 furlong to go. Blue Kentucky clear by 2. Bellotti's trying hard. Homebrew's finding stride late in the game. Here he comes. 16th to go. Blue Kentucky's lead is 2. Homebrew second. It's still Blue Kentucky, and it will be Blue Kentucky. The winner by length in the end. Homebrew Tough Luck second. A ways back to Ready Pursuit, Bellotti, and Magnolia Midnight.
5.82 finish. Blue Kentucky cutting back in distance for the Catman Wayne Catalano, Breeders' Cup sprint winning trainer from this year with Aloha West.
Interesting individual, Wayne Catalano. 1,545 wins as a jockey, now 2,935 wins as a trainer.
Wow.
Usually guys that are good riders, and Wayne Catalano was a terrific rider, don't make as good of trainers. He is obviously an outstanding horseman, outstanding trainer, and you were perfect call on the 8 Homebrew. Tactically, he was competent.
Yeah, he was, and the fact that 5 could sort of put himself in that good stalking spot. 21.77, believe it or not that fast for Churchill Downs. It's honest, but it's not blistering. I think he ran well, but the 5 also might be a better horse.
Wins is the 9-5 favorite. And this 8 made a run at him, though. Homebrew. After that debut at Laurel, moving to Brad Cox. Makes it interesting.
I think he showed that he's for real, that he's legit, that race was legit. But Blue Kentucky worked out the right trip. And just like Andy called it, the horse that had more tactical speed was able to put himself in the race, got the job done,
5.826 here in the 8th from Churchill. Blue Kentucky, son of include for Wayne Catalano with the victory in our 8th on the card. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We'll get to the 9th from Churchill when we return. Stick with us. More America's Day at the Races right after a break.
West Coast champion 3-year-old colt and multiple Grade 1 winner with over $5 million in earnings. He dominated the Pennsylvania Derby by more than 7 lengths and went wire to wire in the Travers, defeating all 3 classic winners.
I would say the Travers was his best performance. He just got out there with that big frame of his and he just galloped away from a fantastic field of horses.
A descendant of the AP Indy sire line, West Coast stands to continue that legacy at Lane's End.
Considering horse ownership? Get off the bench and get in the game. We have one goal. Make racehorse ownership a slam dunk.
It's Maxim Rate close to home. Maxim Rate has won the game lead.
A terrific finish in the Woody Stevens that goes to drain the clock by a head.
Slam Dunk Racing. Come win with us.
You couldn't compose a better pedigree. A half-brother to Beholder.
Beholder's gonna go all the way.
A half-brother to Into Mischief.
Into Mischief wins the Kef Call Futility.
The most versatile performer from this brilliant family.
Mendelssohn's gonna do it. Mendelssohn has won it by a length.
What a win by Mendelssohn. Mendelssohn by a conservative 17 lengths.
Scat Daddy's best-bred son at stud. Mendelssohn.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS2. Program brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. The 8th in the books under the Twin Spires. Florent Giroux, Wayne Catalano, Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, and a 2-year-old son of Include Blue Kentucky, winning as the 9-5 favorite.
And Wayne Catalano had a Breeders' Cup last week. Another win here on his march to 3,000 career victories as a trainer. Position wins races. This horse had better position than the runner-up and was resolute to the wire.
And, you know, it's interesting. You bring up his Breeders' Cup win, Wayne Catalano. That was a horse in Lower West that none of us had heard of in going to Saratoga, right? He was a non-winner as a 2. Going into Saratoga, he was coming off a loss at Churchill Downs.
We had him on our program in May, and a few of us thought he could be a star.
I would like to hear that video.
It was said on the program. Gary Stevens said it on our show.
That he could be a star.
He did.
Okay.
Word for word.
Okay. I want to hear it, but I believe
he absolutely did.
Okay.
I was on the show.
Okay. In May.
In May.
Okay. Then I'm wrong.
$5.80. Blue Kentucky. $389 $2 pick 3. Homebrew second. Ready Pursuit third. And we'll see maybe some future stars coming out of this race as well.
I like when I see 2-year-olds get to run an allowance race. You know, get that progression, not have to jump right into stakes. I think it develops the horse better. They learn more. They're not put under the same kind of pressure.
I don't think we saw a star in that race. I want to be on record. I don't think there's a star in that race. So if somebody in there wins a Breeders' Cup race, I'm an idiot.
I'm stuck
a
in the
bigger
middle
idiot.
Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Wait, be right there.
Look at this guy. He's standing here with one of my favorite trainers, Wayne Catalano. Wayne, you're coming off a Breeders' Cup win. Tell us about that.
Well, the Breeders' Cup was great. I mean, when they hit the wire, I didn't know I won it or not. I was like, oh, I think I got beat. They showed the middle one, and I thought, And the last one, I said, wait a minute, I might have got this. Yeah. And it was exciting. To have my wife there and be there for Aaron in his hometown is beautiful. It was unbelievable.
That was your 3rd or 4th Breeders' Cup win?
Come on, you know it was my 4th. You always messing with me. The guy said, oh, you won 2. No, I won 3. Now we won 4.
And how many winners did you have as a jockey?
1,792.
And how many winners do you have as a trainer?
Well, let's see. 2,935.
Wow. So I'd say he's an all-around good guy, good trainer. So we had Blue Kentucky now for the same connections, Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, Aaron Wellman. That was the first horse I've ever seen you run for them, a Lower West. Now this horse, Blue Kentucky, can we see you getting a few more horses for them?
You know what? We had a few horses from before that horse, but I had trained from in the past. Matter of fact, I was instrumental in getting a horse that they won the Kentucky Derby with, because I got the
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
that's
we
right.
brought that horse along for him, and obviously Grand Motion done a great job. But we got the horse started and helped him out, and I thought he was going to be a good horse, and I even told both of them I think he's a Derby horse.
Yeah.
They thought I was crazy that he was a grass horse.
Well, you are crazy. But so Blue Kentucky, did he disappoint you a little in his last 2 starts?
No, the last start I run him in, maybe he don't want that distance. I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah. He scoped with a little bit of mucus, and today he come back clean and worked great. I said, and it was a great spot, actually. Yeah. I love the spot he was in today.
Yeah. All right. Well,
this is quick. In 2 weeks. Yeah. I couldn't pass this spot up with this kind of purse.
Well, you proved that you were right. Your decision was right.
I've been right once or twice.
Yeah, right. The only time he was wrong was one time when he thought he was right, but it actually turned out he was wrong. They turned it the wrong way around.
I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong.
Yeah. So winning trainer of Blue Kentucky, Wayne Catalano, winner of the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
How can you not be happy for Wayne Catalano? It's great to see him get a big win on the big stage with Aloha West.
I just liked that interview. That was like the greatest interview of the entire year.
But that was his 4th Breeders' Cup win, too.
Is that right?
So Wayne Catalano,
Well, he won with Stephanie's Kitten as a 2-year-old. He originally trained her.
Yeah, 4th Breeders' Cup win for him. And the most important thing, he's a really good cook.
Ooh.
Outstanding cook.
Can we go back to Aloha West for a moment?
Absolutely.
Okay. Look, people don't take enough shots at you. I'm going to take a shot at Andy.
No, nobody takes shots at me. I'm like a battering ram.
We
on
had
Twitter.
so we had a field this summer at Saratoga. It was a 5-horse field.
I did not like him at all.
You picked Aloha West 4th.
Correct.
Of 5 in that
Did
field.
not like him at all. Did pick him second in the Breeders' Cup.
Okay. So at least you came around to him eventually.
Well, I mean, handicapping is about that day. Yes, I didn't like him that day at Saratoga, and I was obviously wrong because he didn't have any speed, and it didn't look like there was any speed in the race. Obviously, he improved immeasurably, but also Joel Rosario got him in the game in there. But no, I did not like him. That is correct.
He was fun to watch.
That was not my only loser at Saratoga, by the way. Not only that, I had a lot of races where I probably had some 5s where I left the horse completely out of the top 4 and the horse won.
And by the way, Jonathan Kinchin, who was a runner-up for the second year in a row in the handicapping challenge, if Aloha West does not get up to win that race, he would have been out in the contest.
Oh, wow.
What, by this much?
Yeah.
Inches,
That was a terrific ride by Jose Ortiz because he's not great out of the gate in that situation. And he didn't get pinched, but he just sort of dropped back a little bit. And I think Jose realized if I don't move him up a little forward and get him into the race, then he's not going to win this race. And he rode him a little bit after the start to move up into like 6th or something and get ahead of a couple of horses and at least be in position if he could close to win the race.
Well, it's those subtle moves.
Yep.
It's not making these big, bold kind of early premature moves. Subtle moves to get to the position and then be able to give your horse a breather.
100%.
Little things matter. Nightcap still coming up at Churchill Downs. Maiden special weight, 1-turn mile. That's going to close out the card under the Twin Spires tonight for 2-year-old fillies. Mitigation, Fast and Flirty, top 2 on the board, the 8 and the 10. Fast and Flirty, Brendan Walsh, second time out. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We're going to look back to that massive upset, one of the biggest we've seen this year, happen yesterday on the turf in the Artie Schiller at 44-1. We'll take you back through it when we return.
A Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, War of Will became a classic winner with this victory in the Preakness Stakes. He added turf credentials to his resume with a determined victory in the Grade 1 Maker's Mark Mile, a winner and Grade 1 placed at 2, multiple graded stakes victor at 3, and Grade 1 winner again at 4. This son of War front has proven his class at every level. A classic winner with a stallion's pedigree, War of Will, standing in at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the races. You see the Rockettes for Christmas?
I've gone to the Christmas show a few times at Radio City. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I need to do it one of these years. Now that I'm in
You
New
should
York.
go. You should go.
Took the kids when they were little. It's fun.
I'm going to wait a few more years with William.
Yeah, he won't.
An ex-girlfriend made me take her a few years
Yes,
ago. I had a
good
great
call.
time. It was fun, though.
You can play all the action with Naira Bets. Take advantage of that offer. $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. Promo code to use at sign-up. Bonus $200. Go to nairabets.com or download the app. Yesterday, wow. Not only was this horse completely ignored in the wagering, as we talked about on the program yesterday, Andy, Mandate in the Artie Schiller, this horse had the worst of it in the running of the race.
It's amazing. You rarely see upsets like that, especially in a turf race, where they get the worst trip and they dominate like he did, and on paper they make no sense. Tremendous, incredible reversal. Real big improvement for that horse.
This was a good field, too, that Mandate was doing this to. Could have very easily been a graded stake with the runners that lined up in here. Andrew Wolfson, 5th stakes win of his career, his first outside the state of Pennsylvania.
Good kid, good rider. Up near Saratoga, native of Boston Spa. Likes to go hiking. He and I have exchanged notes about hikes, and he gave this horse a really good ride. He's closing in on 1,000 career victories.
And I'm right. Doesn't he ride a lot of horses for Jonathan Shepard? I feel like he's been in Saratoga and had some mounts ridden for Jonathan up there.
Yeah, he
past,
did, obviously, before Jonathan retired. And, yeah, the horse got a good trip. Obviously, we were talking about it off camera, Andy. Just probably the give in the ground certainly, you know, probably aided this horse's result.
I mean, you look for reasons not to red board, but to say, how did this happen? Because this horse was played from Todd Pletch for $25,000, and it run okay, and arguably for the new trainer, had run his best career start in his prior race. It still didn't make him competitive here, and the thing is, it's not like, I mean, yeah, I would say that the Chad Brown's horse in the rail got a little bit of trouble in there, but wasn't going to win the race. And it doesn't matter. The trouble that the one had was nothing compared to this horse being 3 wide around the track. That was having trouble saving every inch of ground. This horse was very good yesterday.
First stakes win for trainer Robert Johnston, who would run Bruno Schickedan's farm for about 8 years. Big moment for him. 44-1, just incredible. And I believe it came back. I think he got a 94 buyer for the victory.
Yep, that's correct.
Flavius, Tell Your Daddy, who wanted to go to the Breeders' Cup Mile, runs by him in the stretch.
Yeah, that's a very happy young man. You saw him, you know, kind of salute after the win, give the horse a big hug there. And I go back, running Schickedan's horses. I just figured out the filly's name, Scott Zana. Won a stake on her at Gulfstream.
Oh, Scott Zana, she was good.
Nice sprinting filly.
Yeah. She ran on the dirt.
On the dirt.
Yeah, she kept some good company, I think, too. She was had a great record, I want to say.
Then I jumped off her next time to ride Harpia and beat her. Very fast dancing filly.
John Kimmel. She was a nice horse, Harpia.
We're going to recap a big one from Churchill as well. Bell's the one we thought all summer long was thinking and pointing to the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. Opt to pass on that spot for the Dream Supreme yesterday at Churchill Downs. We'll talk about her performance. Another victory for the 5-year-old mare. And what's up next for her? Stay with us.
Good boy. Hey, Red. Ready to go for a ride, buddy? Huh? I'm gonna miss you, Red.
Grayson Jockey Club Research Foundation provides the best equine research to treat the horses we love.
Run Happy is simply super! He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu!
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
I think at a yearling, you're looking for pretty much an athlete. All horses come in different shapes and sizes. You know, some are tall, some are small, but really you're looking for balance and athleticism in the horse, one that moves well and knows how to use its body. So day-to-day starts in the morning. All the yearlings are out in the field at night, so we keep them out for a majority of the day. We'll come in the morning, get all the stalls ready, and we'll bring them up right about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And they'll stay in the stall for about 5 hours. They'll get a meal first thing when they come in. If they have any blacksmith or vet work that needs to get done, it'll get done at that time. The horses get groomed and bathed at that time, and importantly, they get to rest because they're out in the field fighting and getting that competitive edge.
Two yearlings we're really excited about.
That's the Quality Road out of Lowell. He is a first foal out of Lowell who is a great racehorse for the farm, and he has been great since day one. He's a big, strong, athletic horse. Hasn't done a thing wrong since he's been over here. Moves well, got a great mind to him, really has all the qualities that you're looking for. So he's a Warfront out of a mare named Queen Nefertiti. He's a really nice horse, real well balanced, got a good mind to him, very easy moving, and has everything that you're looking for in a horse at this age. My first group are now 4-year-olds. Art Collector was raised out here. He was the big one. And then the filly that won the Santa Anita Oaks, Soothsay, she was raised out here as well. She's a 3-year-old. A horse named Dynamic One that ran second in the Wood Memorial. He was raised out here. We've had a few other stakes winners as well on top of that, but those would be the main 3 so far. I've worked in every aspect of the farm, but the yearlings I kind of figured out was what I wanted to do. And out here, everybody has their own ways, and the way they do it is still pretty simplistic to keeping it pretty ordinary. Outside as much as they can, let the horses be horses.
Our program brought to you each and every day by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. We still have the Nightcap coming up. Churchill, it's got to be so gratifying to see these youngsters growing up on the farm and turn into what they eventually turn into.
I get such a big kick out of watching young horses in the field, yearlings horsing around, excuse the pun, roughhousing, and you always have one that's like a show-off, is like a little narcissistic, me. They're usually pretty good, too.
It's fun, I agree. It's one of the things, you used to go to Kentucky in the spring, and go by the farms, just driving around, seeing the mares and the foals. It's a nice experience.
Yeah. Yesterday's feature at Churchill Downs, it was a Dream Supreme. Connections of Bell's the one they passed on the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. She'd run in a race. She was 3rd in it last year. Opted for this spot instead, and it paid off. That patented late run from this 5-year-old mare, and she's up again for another in the 11th win of her career.
I love closing sprinters. They're so exciting. I love the inside-out ride here by Corey Lannery. Saved all the ground before sifting out to the clear. And she comes with that patented late run. I really enjoy this mare. I wish we had seen her in the Breeders' Cup. I think her style would have suited, with the amount of speed signed on, but she stayed home and got the money here.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned the ride by Corey Lannery, because this was an absolutely terrific ride. You think about riding a horse that's heavily favored like that, and a lot of times you're just thinking, don't get in trouble. And you can get in trouble sometimes by going inside. Now, there was distance between them, but he went inside in the turn, saved that ground, and angling out. And frankly, she needed every bit of that. This was a very nice horse, but it was an excellent ride by Corey.
one of the things that made Jerry Bailey as great as he was, and as great as he was for so long, was he would take edges even when he was on the best horse. Not looking to get them bottled up or in trouble, but not taking for granted that they were always going to be 100% or so good on the day they could overcome wide trips. And to me, that's one of the reasons why he was so consistently good for so long.
It's also one of the reasons why he lost with his last career mount. Just kidding, Jerry. He did lose to a horse that actually ended up winning. Big upset down at Gulfstream, but the horse who beat him was the horse that won the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile that year.
The Live Oak horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Belle's the one we heard from Neil Pessin in an interview with Frank yesterday. She's going to stick around. We're going to get to see her again in action. Still going to keep on motoring home, hopefully, and see a few more wins from her in her career. Here's our post spread. We kick things off with 9-2 on the inside for this Kenny McPeak filly by Gormley.
Yeah, this one has experience. Going a mile, it may help. Short price on a horse whose dirt race was not very good.
22-1 on My Aim Is True, debuting Medaglia d'Oro, Al Stahl.
Yeah, first fall out of a stakes-winning mare. Miles tough debut distance.
Bernardini filly here, the 3.
No money for this first-time starter. Burner Breezy, as you say, no money.
Valentina Day, 27-1, another big price on a first-timer by Cupid.
More of a turf pedigree on the bottom side. Cupid 3 for 12 with dirt rooters. This horse certainly favors Cupid from a physical perspective.
Got a fast gate drill, too, at Keeneland. Loved Rico. Rusty Arnold.
Yeah, Farron Peterson is riding there. I don't know if she's ridden before. There, try the turf first time. There's some dirt pedigree on the dam side, though, but more turf probably.
Here's Coco Puff for Keith Desormeaux.
Yeah, improved a little bit with each start. Got a mile and a 16th last time. Certainly has a lot of foundation for a trainer who gets bargain basement horses to overperform.
Summer Front filly making start number 4 has only been on the turf so far.
Yeah, I didn't want to try to pronounce her name either. She is a half. Speaking of Sophie Doyle, who rides this horse to Street Band, who is an excellent stakes horse that Sophie rode. There's really more dirt in the pedigree.
Here's the favorite, Fast and Flirty, Brendan Walsh.
Ran well in the slot. First time going 7 furlongs. Stretches out. It's a half the split time. Stakes performer, New York bred.
Brad Cox with Social Matrix, the 9.
Yeah, this one has experience for Brad. His numbers stretching out are very solid with maidens.
Wow, 9-2 morning line, 10-1 on Brad Cox. Mitigation.
Yeah.
It's 7-2. That's strange.
Yeah, I agree.
Joel Rosario on mitigation.
Yeah, Into Mischief, stretching, well, getting back to a mile, ran once a mile at Del Mar, adds blinkers. Get Joel.
Dale Romans with the Light of the Nile.
Yeah, I didn't see anything in this horse. The one dirt race was just a slow figure.
And D. Wayne Lucas out there somewhere with the 12 Clay's Cloud. There's the 12 Clay's Cloudburst.
Yeah, not taking much money on debut, 34-1. More of a sprint pedigree on the dam side.
Did you guys notice the pedigree on the 14 Lacrete, who didn't get in? The second full from Clairiere, from Cavorting. I have to. Clairiere's not a Medaglia d'Oro, is she?
Can't remember. But she was a Curlin. No?
Yeah, it's a Curlin, right?
Yeah.
It's this half.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richie.
You can take advantage of Twin Spires bet back offer. Place a win bet on select races at Churchill Thursday through Sunday. You'll get your bet back up to $10. If your horse runs second or third, you have to opt it in. And those bonus funds are credited every Monday. Go to twinspires.com or download the app. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
So that horse, Clairiere, is by Curlin, and the 8 in here, Fast and Flirty. I'm going to go with the Into Mischief exacta in this race. I'm not sure between the 8 or the 10, but the 8 Fast and Flirty finished second, beaten 5.5 lengths at Keeneland in her debut. That was in the slop. She ran very well that day. That was going 7 furlongs now. She's going back. It's going a mile today. And so she's going to run a big race here. Then the 10 Mitigation came from John Sheriff's, was owned by Pam and Marty Wygod, who have had so many great horses through the years. And Mitigation has had 2 starts in Southern California. Gets blinkers on today, finished 4th beaten 9 lengths and 3rd beaten 9 lengths, but is in the barn of Billy Mott's for the very first time. So I'm going to go with the Into Mischief exacta between the 8 and the 10. The box exacta, I should say. And then the 8 is actually quite interesting. As Wolfie said, this horse was 9-2 in the morning line, is now at 11-1, getting no support at all. Didn't run bad, a $500,000 daughter of Jimmy Creed. And then the 1 also is getting play here for Kenny McPeak. This filly looked well on the racetrack. She's been bet down to 3-1 right now. And that is a Jakazi. Muddy. So I'll go with the Into Mischief Exacta here, Wolfie. Back to you.
I just want to make sure you know Clairiere is sired by Curlin. Just make sure you guys know that.
All right, we've notated that.
Thank you.
I think we
Frank.
finally learned that on the program. 2-1 favorite is the 8 in here. Fast and flirty. Travis Stone with a nightcap from Churchill.
What is she worried about that? She got more money than all of us.
Now just waiting for Cocoa Puff and Clay's Cloud Burst.
Be careful.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Delight of the Nile and Jakachi, those two fastest out of there. Cocoa Puff not far behind either. So up the chute they go, and Delight of the Nile's very quick. Delight of the Nile speeds off to lead by 4. Fast and Flirty comes on to challenge for that second spot, but it's a clear second as Delight of the Nile is a runoff leader. 5 lengths as they cross over. Fast and Flirty running along in second. And then it's Cocoa Puff toward the inside in third. Chubaritz is racing 4th by 2. Mitigation is now 5th. Jakachi down inside 6th. Loved Rico running along in 7th. Social Matrix is 8th down the backstretch. Clay's Cloudburst is 9th. My Aim is True 10th toward the rail. Valentina Day second to last. And Berna Breezy's at the back. It's a pretty tight pack for the second flight. The first flight is Delight of the Nile. She's all alone on the lead, and she's in front by 6. 22-2 to a 46-2 half mile. Delight of the Nile, 3 furlongs to go. Fast and Flirty and Chubaritz are coming on second and third. Farther back in the field, Mitigation comes up to grab 4th. Cocoa Puff is 5th. Social Matrix is 6th. And then it's Jakachi down inside, needs to find a way through from 7th. They come for the top of the stretch. They've caught up to Delight of the Nile. Chubaritz on the outside is taken the lead. Fast and Flirty fights on between them. Mitigation is switched outside from 4th. 1 furlong to go, and Fast and Flirty comes away with the lead. Opens up a length and a half. Chubaritz gives way. Mitigation's on track late. 16th pole. Fast and Flirty clear by 2. Mitigation's trying hard, but is second best to Fast and Flirty. Fast and Flirty wins by 2. Mitigation was second. Valentina Day was third. Multiple horses in the photo for 4th. Among them, Jakachi, Berna Breezy, Chubaritz, and Delight of the Nile.
Fast and Flirty, and it is indeed an Into Mischief Exacta. Thank you, Frank Lyons.
Great call by Frank. Give you Exacta. Up 2-1 over 4-1. Okay. Nice job, Frank. And good trips in here for both these horses moving on the outside.
I thought Tyler might be in trouble for a moment when the 11 Delight of the Nile was stopping. I thought she was going to kind of get caught up in behind her, but he was able to find the split between horses and gets it done. The half to split time. Nice New York bred for Linda Rice a few years ago. Won some stakes. Gets it done in her second start. Mitigation, dead aim, turn of home, just came up second best.
Finally, just getting worried. You know, if Tyler Gaffleon was going to be able to win again after he went 6 for 6 on Friday. He's won 8 over the last 2 days. First win of this Sunday card.
Well, he ended the day right. I always liked winning the last race of the week that I rode because then I could feel good about myself until the next race in there. You're only as good as your last win, Andy.
Tell me about it.
Got to feel good to go out a winner and have the weekend ahead. Fast and Flirty, Tyler Gaffleon, his 9th winner over the last 3 days. We're going to take a timeout. Start number 2 for this daughter of Into Mischief. Stretching out, getting the win. We'll be back.
Deep in the heart of horse country, from these Kentucky hills has sprung a legacy rivaled by few. From the all-time greats of yesterday to the breed-shaping bloodlines of today, Our roots hold strong with the promise of tomorrow. For over a century, our passion has guided us to where we stand and everything we stand for. Claiborne Farm, the tradition continues.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on FS2. Program brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Fast and Flirty takes a Nightcap at Churchill. We do have an objection right now for third. Finished 8-10, and then the 4 and the 1 flashing.
Well, we're watching, right? The 4 is, we're watching a different screen.
8-10, 4-1, and yeah, your third and fourth place finishers are the ones flashing on the board.
I have no idea.
All right, so let's take a look here.
I honestly didn't see a whole lot there, guys.
I'm guessing he says he came
there
over
it is,
there.
Both pink caps.
No, I think it must have happened before. I don't think anything happened here. You can see the 4 does want to lug in, Richie, can't you? Look at him.
Yeah, the 4 was definitely lugging in, but I didn't see enough there to warrant. Well, right there, maybe? No, I really didn't see a whole lot to warrant.
Can we get Frank Lyons to interview the stewards?
This is what the stewards are taking a peek at now to try and determine. Oh, there we go.
But if that was the instance, the inside horse came out in behind the gray horse, the 4 Valentina Day, who was trying to lug in, but I think the rider did a really good job of keeping her as straight as possible.
I don't think I think that was a non-event.
All right, we'll keep you posted unofficially. 8-10, 4-1-3 there, and now being told that objection sign
Stewards,
is down.
to us.
No change, so 8-10, 4-1 in the Nightcap, and we'll give you those prices in a moment. When last seen in New York last winter, jockey Trevor McCarthy made a big impact. 39 victories, over $2.2 million in earnings, finishing 5th in the riders' standings. Now McCarthy is set to return to the Big Apple with a new agent securing his mounts. That agent may be new to the profession, but Joe Migliore has spent a lifetime in the sport, growing up at the Big A, Belmont, and Saratoga as the son of a jockey you may have heard of.
I think it was pretty ingrained from day one that, this was the place I wanted to be, especially the racetrack. I rarely had a day where I thought of anything else. And it was special because, you're so invested in an athlete's, career and one specific athlete's, kind of performance. And it's, it's your father. It's obviously someone you idolize. And it kind of heightened everything where, each race, each high, each low was a little bit more amplified, specifically because it was, your dad out there.
Coming down to the finish, brilliantly ridden on the front end by Richard Migliore. Flashing has won here. Flashing has won the Gazelle in front-running style.
I learned a tremendous amount, about horses, from him, but not only him, also my mother, Carmela, she was an assistant trainer, for 2 decades. So, having 2 parents that were both, race trackers, I think that definitely accelerated the learning process and it really helped me get to where I am today. As a young child, wanted to follow Dad's footsteps and be a jockey, but obviously that was never going to happen, at over 6 feet tall. So, and for me, there was always a big draw to the electricity of buying horses or finding, the next very talented horse. At the end of the day, we all have a certain taste or a certain opinion of what a horse may or may not be. And to me, that's one of the most exciting parts of our industry is that, it's not solved. It's not a game that can be solved. And, the sales are kind of where, everybody lets their chips fall and we find out years down the line who made the right decisions.
What's it like seeing the evolution of your son's career in this sport?
Well, incredibly proud of him and his work ethic. He graduated University of Delaware. He went to the Irish National Stud course, went from there to Australia. So he got an international education with horses, working on a breeding farm. He's known racing his whole life. My wife, Carmela, is a student of pedigree and conformation. She's imparted that to him, and he loves the game. He's like us. He's a fan of the game. Yep. He's a student of the game. And now the fact that he is going to try this endeavor, taking on Trevor McCarthy's book, who I like the fit. Trevor's got an incredible work ethic. He's a terrifically talented young rider. He's over 1,600 career wins. And Joe, being a student of the game, having a lot of connections, I think they'll really complement each other. And the fact that they both have unparalleled work ethics. I mean, Trevor's coming off an injury. He had surgery on his ankle. He's doing great. He's been getting on horses every single day, galloping some, working horses. So I'm excited for them. But Joey's first, he's still very much vested in the bloodstock world. He's actually at Keeneland right now buying brood mares. So he feels like that'll just complement being a jockey's agent, all the connections he has from coast to coast at sales and going to different racetracks. So I'm excited for them. 2 very talented, driven young men.
Well, it's gonna be nice to have Trevor McCarthy back here too. I know you were very high on him as well.
I'm a big fan of Trevor. He's a terrific kid and a really good rider. And with Joey, strong dam side.
Listen, I always say it, the dam side far more important than the sire side.
Well, we're gonna take a time out. We have more coming up. Churchill, their nightcap, it goes to fast and flirty. 8-10-4-1 finish, $6.80. Start number 2, the stretch out for Brendan Walsh into Mischief Filly out of a Not for Love mare, Speed Dating. For Bradley Thoroughbreds, Belmar Racing, and Tyler Gaffleone, another carryover in their pick 6, 88,000 and growing. We're going to take a time out. Just imagine how good he could have been if he stayed on the grass. Cigar. We'll have the story of his incredible win streak when we come back. I kid. No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com. Darkness has descended upon Aqueduct Racetrack in South Ozone Park. Welcome back to America's Day at the Races on FS2. Unraced as a 2-year-old, Cigar came to Bill Mott in his 4-year-old season after an 0-for-4 start trying to get through his 3 other than allowance on the turf. Bill Mott and his team decided to make a change and return Cigar to the surface where he broke his maiden in his 2nd start. That decision led to one of the greatest win streaks in the history of the sport.
Cigar, no competition today. He toyed with them this afternoon, and he glides gracefully under the line with plenty left. Cigar dominating by...
Somebody asked me one time, was he the best horse that you ever rode? And I still feel like this. I think he's the best horse almost anybody could have ever ridden.
No thoughts about it. It was Cigar, much the best.
Cigar running a monstrous race today to win the Naira Mile. And he did it decisively.
And the thing that separated him from other very good or great horses of his era was clearly the streak. Think of the great horses that ran Secretariat, Seattle Slew, Forgo, Kelso, etc. None of them were able to do what he was able to do. And I think that's what makes him stand alone.
The whole experience with him was just very memorable. I mean, it was, you know, to be able to be involved with a horse like that, to have a horse develop into a horse like that, and to be part of it was just really very, very special. I just haven't been around a horse like this ever.
A lot of horses win a lot of races at their home track. You know, we'll see horses be very good in New York, but they won't leave New York. We'll see horses be very good in California that won't leave California. This horse was a New York-based horse, but he literally went all over the world to do what he did.
He's never had to fight harder. He's coming back. It's going to be Cigar. It's going to take it up the line. Cigar by 3 parts of it. 14 out of 14 for Cigar.
All class, and Cigar wins the Hollywood Gold Cup.
Cigar, one of the great ones indeed.
It's Cigar. Cigar is coming to the wire, and he wins with devastating ease. Cigar, invincible.
My mindset when I rode until Cigar was horses were a means to an end. I loved horses. I grew up with them, and I respected them, but I had no attachment to them emotionally. They were a means to an end. It was almost like a doctor-patient relationship. I didn't want to get attached to any horse because invariably I would change to another horse the next race, or I would be taken off, or the relationship wouldn't continue. So he made me fall in love with horses.
His level of consistency was just unbelievable. And he was a fun horse to train. He was a fun horse to watch. I mean, he was just amazing.
There was no spot that I would get into in any race that I couldn't get out of because all I had to do was open my hands and Cigar was there and willing and wanting.
I don't know if he's the greatest horse that ever lived, but his accomplishment was one of the greatest accomplishments in the history of racing.
And here he is, the unconquerable, invincible, unbeatable Cigar!
What an incredible streak that captivated horse racing and the countries. You look at the resume that Cigar put together. Andy, during that streak, what to you was his best performance?
I thought his Oakland Park handicap when he beat Silver Goblin. He ran a very fast race that day. I thought he was very impressive in there. But I'll tell you what, his Naira Mile, now the Cigar Mile, that was a brilliant race as well, but there were a lot of terrific performances. But I thought the Oakland one might have been his best.
Got a 121 buyer, the best of his career in that victory.
Incredible. And you know, I guess his Dubai World Cup first one.
That was so exciting, wasn't it?
You know, hearing the stories that he got over there, he was dehydrated, he wasn't eating. You know, they were concerned about how he was going to race. And then for him to dig down and will himself to win over Soul of the Matter, who took a big run at him. Heart. You got to have not only ability, you have to have heart.
No doubt.
Well, this year's edition of the Cigar Mile is shaping up to be a stellar group that we're going to see on December 4th. Take a look at the meet highlights. This all still to come. Some good ones, but everybody can't wait for that Grade 1 Cigar Mile. $750,000 purse and a lot of big names that we're going to be talking about quite a bit as we get closer and closer. We have been already. But another name thrown into the hat. Talented 3-year-old for Todd Pletcher, who ran huge against older horses on a New York bred day in the Empire Classic. Going to cut back in distance
I think it's a very good sign that Todd is running in here, because a lot of times he might sort of be more and more conservative and give him some time in the next year. It's a very big race, a very important race, can make him his stallion career. And I think, you know, this was obviously a very fast race. Huge figure, 108, 109. Wet track races running off like that, sometimes exaggerates performances, but this is a very talented horse and an improving one at that.
He's shown he has ability. You know, he earned his right to give it a try for sure. And I don't mind the turn back for him. I like the 1 turn mile. I think it just intensifies between. He was chasing a pretty fast pace going a mile and 1/8 against the New York breds here.
Oh, I agree. I'm not worried about that at all. I mean, I will say, you know, that Albany, he really got in gear at that race, the 1 1/8. So he is a horse who can handle the distance. But I'm not worried about the 1 turn mile. He's not slow. We'll see. I mean, it could be an interesting race. There's some interesting up-and-comers coming into that race, which I like.
Another up-and-comer. We got to, well, we saw American Revolution at Saratoga this summer. Another one we saw in defeat this summer. His stablemate got the better of him. We thought he was turning into a star. Baby Yoda beat him. Olympiad came back and won for Bill Mott at Keeneland. And this horse has big ability. Lightly raced.
I agree with you, Greg. I'm really looking forward to seeing this guy run for Bill Mott. He's got a couple in Speaker's Corner and Olympiad. Horses we saw at Saratoga that came back late. Speaker's Corner, I think, is playing for the Discovery. Mott wants to give another chance at a 1 1/8, around 2 turns, to see if he's a more 1 turn or 2 turn type. And this guy as well, Olympiad. He'll have to get a little faster, but not a lot faster.
It'll be his 3rd start off the layoff. He's 2 for 4 in his career. Beat Caddo River, Greatest Honor, and what had to be, that might have been the toughest maiden race of the year.
Miles D was in there. It was a killer field. Agree with you.
Love his mechanics, love his stride.
I hope Greatest
really
Honor
like
comes back soon.
I do as well. We're back next Wednesday, 1 Eastern start time on FS2. We will see you then. Plum, well, that's not Plum Ali. But she did win the Winter Memories.
There she is.
On the front end.
She eventually showed up.
First time she's ever been on the lead, and ending an 0 for 7 streak after she started out a perfect 3 for 3. Manny Franco, Christophe Clement. We'll see you next Wednesday.